You're watching the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent and Austen Show.
All right, welcome back to the show, Brent and Austen Show. All you had to do is talk bad about people pushing buttons, and the whole thing goes kaput.
I guess I had that coming. I also tried to blame my son because I don't know if my son's Switch was eating off the Wi-Fi a little bit, so it was Ronan's fault. So I had to ask him what was going on. But Brent, before we get back into it, I just want to say, and we give the guy crap all the time on the show, but I was thoroughly impressed with how well Jason Hamby just handled everything that went down. Calm, cool, collected. I'm impressed. He's growing up before our eyes.
It is. It's very impressive, actually, behind the scenes of what Hamby's done since the start of the show. There's been a lot going on, and we might be asking the whole system to do too much right now. But I'm always amazed at this, Austen. This goes back to the ESPN 690 days. We have been asking, we've been pushing the envelope on a lot of different technology, and
sure.
We used to have some issues early on. And I always loved that the listeners and viewers were very cool with it, and they hung with us. And, people in our business get very like, oh, my gosh, it looks so bad. You can't do that. But I think people get it from time to time. And but I've always been so surprised that we don't run into that a little bit more often. That is the first time that our system has crashed for a minute. And we've been doing this now, knock on wood, by the way. Hopefully it's the last time for a while. But we've been doing the show since February. And we built this thing from scratch, and it's great. And by the way, here's one other note and on why we knew this could happen today is because Steve Sesnick, the man behind all of this that really knows how all the buttons work, he's on vacation.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
So, hey, by the way, this is we're proving we can do it without him, I guess, right now, or at least Hamby is. Hamby, nice job. So that's a little behind the scenes of what just transpired. So we welcome you back. I think we're back. And we are here at Best Bet St. Augustine, Austen in studio. Hamby trying to figure this whole thing out. And we'll soon be Olivia. I think she's inside an introductory meeting right now with Chad Muma. And Liv, you're live, so just so you know. So Chad Muma's meeting with the kids in the team room. And again, he's a guy that has dealt with diabetes during his life and career and made it all the way to the NFL. It's a really cool story, and hopefully we'll catch up with him in just a little bit. So let's get back to talking some sports and get our ducks in a row. You were talking about the linebacker situation earlier. You already hit on the NBA Finals. I want to hit on a different part of this. We talk play calling and, Trevor Lawrence all the time. What about the growth from a guy like Mike McCoy? I think Mike McCoy is a fascinating guy in the Jaguars building. He's been a head coach, he's been a play caller, and he's settled into this QB coach role for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think, we talk Press Taylor and Doug Peterson, I think a guy like Mike McCoy is really critical to a player like Trevor Lawrence's success. He's seen a lot of things, and he's been around a lot of quarterbacks, much like Doug Peterson, Austen.
Yeah, the thing with Mike McCoy, because we always say, you don't have to be necessarily a football player to be a great coach, right? But I almost feel like if you're a coordinator or you're a quarterback's coach, you almost have to have that NFL type of experience. And obviously Mike McCoy played many years in the league, on the Broncos, on the Packers, and the 49ers, Eagles, played a little bit, I think, in Canada as well. So he has experience as a quarterback, but I find it funny, my defensive line coach, Joe Cullen, he played in college. He didn't play at the, at the professional level or anything, but yeah, I mean, obviously you still respect that guy. His wealth of knowledge, everything is insane. It's off the charts. But then you talk about, if I'm a head coach, I'm bringing a quarterback coach in, I almost have to have, that NFL experience just so my starting quarterback can feel more comfortable and bounce the ideas off of. And I think, Mike McCoy is that unsung quarterback whisperer here in this room of Doug Peterson and Press Taylor.
Yeah, I think so. I've always enjoyed talking to McCoy, and the thing that stands out to me about what Mike McCoy has told us in the past, I did a sit-down interview with him, I think last year, maybe it was 2 years ago now, and the one thing he really pumps up about Trevor that my ears catch, Austen, is how much he wants to be great. I like hearing that about a player. I think that when you're a coach and that's what jumps out at you, that means you're very coachable, right? You're teachable. You want to push. You're satisfied with nothing. And you, as a guy who's played in the NFL and made it to the UFC, like, you understand that. Like, I don't think everybody's built like that. People are trying to push themselves at your level. You're a 1%er. And how do you go from 1% to even a less percenter, right? That'd be really, really good at your position. But I always hear that from McCoy and when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, and I think that's a pretty cool thing because that says a lot, in my opinion, about Trevor Lawrence. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And as a player, like I recall, and I sang his praises a lot when we were on the old show, and I said that he deserved to be a defensive coordinator, and lo and behold, he ended up becoming a defensive coordinator for a bit with the Seahawks, and that was Clint Hurt. There's just something about, being in a room, watching film, getting coached up by a former player. And once again, I'm not saying you have to be a professional football player to be a great coach. I mean, I think that helps. I think that earns respect and trust. But Bill Belichick, arguably one of the greatest coaches of all time, I don't think he was a pro player or anything, but obviously he knows his things. He knows his X's and O's, and just look at the coaching tree that has been able to produce. So once again, I just think anytime you can get guys that have the game experience, that played the game, that's only going to help your quarterback. And I think right now in that room, I think Trevor Lawrence has the comfortability of Press Taylor because he's accustomed to working with him. Now we're not changing up coordinators every single year, so you like that. And then obviously as a head coach who himself spent many, many years in the league, backing up some great quarterbacks, and then you're your own quarterback coach, you probably deal with the most on a daily basis in terms of watching film, breaking down your mechanics, making sure everything is good to go, is also a former NFL player himself. So that's those things right there. They don't get talked about a lot, but I think in terms of comfortability, those only help your quarterback.
Yeah, and McCoy's a good listen, so let's listen to him right now. We got a chance to catch up with him this week and ask him about Trevor Lawrence. And listen even to the last question, I think that's in here as well, where I asked him about just the procedure of getting a play off in the NFL. I thought his answer to that was pretty interesting. Here's Mike McCoy, Jaguars QB coach.
Mike, how are you doing?
Great. How are you doing?
Good. If you look around the league, seeing these quarterbacks getting the contract extensions, getting paid, maybe it's a Super Bowl for Burrow, statistical. Trevor's have been injuries. He had his rookie year, which was off and on. Why does this organization believe in him so much, do you think?
He's an unbelievable player. He truly loves the game. And like we talked about earlier, what it means for him to play on Sundays. And I think everyone in this organization knows what type of player he is and where we think we're going to go as an organization with him.
He mentioned, I think in April in here, that we're doing some different things. I know the scheme's the scheme, but how much does an offense evolve year to year, or is this evolving a little bit more than a typical year?
Well, I think, with regards to Trevor and playing the quarterback position, the more you play in a system, the more comfortable you are. Like I mentioned earlier, his ability to walk the line of scrimmage, see something, and get us out of a play instantly. See a certain look, they're covering Christian a certain way to get to a better play. Not that the one play is not good, but there's an opportunity to expose a defense. And it's a lot easier. You see the whole offseason program when we've been out there against our defense, him just checking things, getting us in a better play possibly. And just the more experience you have, the more comfortable you're going to be. The more you play against a certain defensive coordinator, against a certain team, I think you watch the way him and Christian are out there. It's great to see just their it's so easy for the two of them to just Christian runs just one little tweak in a route, and Trevor he doesn't miss it at all. Whereas the first year maybe Christian might change one little route detail and kind of spooks Trevor so he gets off it. But now he has that confidence, and that just comes with experience. And so that's the key right now is to with the new guys on our team to kind of figure out how they run. And that's what's great about offseason program is just understanding and Trevor's at a role now or having been in the system now in his third year that he's a coach on the field. He's been so vocal, and it's great to see. Whether it's Gabe, whether it's BT out there, it's just him just talking them through in between every play of how he sees it and how he'd like them to run it, or asking them, okay, what do you think versus these looks? How do you think you're going to do it? So it's been a fun off season.
He's played a ton of football. He's just 24 years old, though. Do you look at him as older than that, beyond his years, where he's at, or do you still look at him as a guy who's been around this league a long time and other quarterbacks as a young player?
It's kind of a combination of both. He's going on his fourth season. He's young, but I'm a lot older than him. Being in my 50s, I wish I was young again. But I think there's nothing like experience, and I think each year he's only gonna get better. And when I say that is the more snaps you have, the more you play against guys, the more you learn, and the more you're in the longer you're in the same system, the more confidence you have. And I think as an offense, every year your team changes. So we got, as a coaching staff, we got to figure out what do we do best. Who is the deep threat? Who is that third down guy you're going to count on in certain routes? There's certain things that, in the past 2 years, there's certain things I think Trevor would say, I want Zay Jones out there. I want him on these routes. And now, we're without someone like Zay, you're looking at it and say, okay, who's going to be that guy in that role? And that's what training camp and the offseason program force. But I think it's a lot easier now for Trevor to kind of, knowing the system and knowing the progressions of everything and having played against a number of different coordinators and actually the guys he's playing against, of looking at things and saying now, okay, having been in the league for 3 years now, I could say, okay, these are matchups I think that I would say, okay, hey Mike, or talking to press, hey let's maybe let's run it out of this formations because I think this player we match up well against, and I think that's getting better and learning about a system and growing up with experience is really going to help him.
You called plays and stuff. How the time that thing starts to happen from after the next play to when the ball's snapped, how much goes on in that time frame, and how precise is all that timing to avoid delay of games or organizational problems?
Well, I think that all goes into game planning. I think you spend so much time during the week, as a coaching staff putting a plan together, as players studying that plan, and I think up to Saturday night when we were in the meetings with the quarterbacks, with coach, with press, and the people that are in that room, we kind of go over situational things again. Whether it's sometime Friday, whether it's Saturday, kind of putting the third down red area plays in order as whether it's the play caller, whether it's the quarterback, kind of how we like things, just kind of going over things. So a lot of those things, those decisions are all made during the week. But then there's going to be an adjustment during the game. You're going to play a team, depending on how the game's going, whether you're going up and down the field, will they make changes, or maybe as an offense you're not playing as well as you want to. You get back to the basics. You might change some things. There's always, every game, there's something that comes up at halftime where we might add a play or two here and there. So that's the game of football. That's what we do as coaches and players. You adjust, and there's more conversation, I would say, in between series about, hey, this is what we're thinking about doing the next series. Here's the first play or two we might run, and I think we do a pretty good job of communicating what's the next third down call going to be, things like that. But there's not a ton of discussion because you don't have a lot of time in between plays. As the next play's over, the whistle's blown, you're moving on, and I think press has done a great job of giving him the plays as quickly as possible. And there are some plays that are long, and that's sometimes where you run into a problem where it might be a check. You want to run a certain play versus certain coverage, and then there's another tag to it, Get down in the lower red area sometimes, or it's a bigger play. Sometimes it takes, people don't understand that sometimes that there's an explosive play, so it takes the players longer, the offensive linemen, to get down there, and then all of a sudden there's a long play call, and maybe it's a shift in emotion, something like that comes up, or defense, sometimes they're lined up wrong. So Trevor might be sitting there waiting for them to get lined up, and then the clock starts running down. So it's never perfect.
Yeah, never perfect. That's right. You got to deal with all that chaos and mess. That's Mike McCoy, Jaguars QB coach. There's a lot in there now that I thought was interesting. Even in the last 30 seconds, did you hear him say, kind of to our conversation yesterday, Press does a great job of getting it in there. It's like Press is the play caller, right? Press is the guy communicating it. Like that wasn't even like, yeah, if Press calls the plays. That was like Press is the guy that's communicating with him and getting the play to him. I do find it fascinating all that goes on in a play, which is going to probably lead to a story down the road on the TV side of things. But beyond that, it is interesting, and he kind of was looking at it both ways, Austen, but is Trevor a young guy now, or is he a veteran? Like, where are we on the Trevor side of things? He's 24 years old, so by age, he's an extremely young player. But this is a guy that's played a ton of football in high school and college, and now really in the NFL, too. Got a lot of games under his belt. So it's kind of fascinating how you look at Trevor Lawrence. Young guy, veteran guy.
When we talk about, all right, we're good back. We're back. When you talk about the age, like, listen, I think if you enter your second year or third year as a defensive lineman, it's like, okay, yeah, he's not a rookie anymore. He's not young. I mean, he's getting experience now. He's earned his reps. He's earned his stripes in the NFL. I think sometimes we're quick to give quarterbacks the benefit of the doubt and almost like, say, it's maybe his third season, but he's still young. Like, no, I treat everyone the same in terms of experience and in terms of the youth. And I think when you go into your third year in the NFL, I think that's when you essentially have been seasoned. You've essentially know what to expect and you're conditioned now and everything. So, I'm not going to use the narrative of Trevor Lawrence as a young quarterback anymore. I think Trevor Lawrence is an experienced quarterback.
Yeah, and by the way, one other thought, Austen, before we take a timeout. Mike McCoy seems to love this guy too, right? I mean, if you talk, I asked that first question, I was like, well, why does this organization love him? And I think Shad loves him. I've always said that. I think Trent Baalke probably loves him, like I believe. I don't know. I don't feel that as much as maybe everybody else that, like, I'm not saying he doesn't. He's doing the deal. Like, he's the guy pulling the trigger. So let me rework that. Yeah, he probably loves him too. But I really think Doug does, because Doug came here for him, right? Doug still has confidence in him. We hear Doug talk about him and talk about the evolution of him and why he believes in him. Like, we've asked those pointed questions to Doug. We asked that about Press Taylor. We know their relationship is good. And now you hear Mike McCoy, and every time we do, I think he kind of answers it in a similar way. So I think, like, why are you getting this deal done? Why pay him now? Why is there so much belief in Trevor Lawrence in the organization? It starts from the top all the way down to guys like Mike McCoy who have experience in this league and know what it looks like.
Yeah, for sure. First of all, just quick from the chats, Robert, stop snitching on me. And now, so when we talk about Mike McCoy, I thought that was really, I think it was telling in terms of, once again, the whole play calling thing. We talk about this every single day. It's the talk of the summer. I'm gonna end on this with it, because I think I've made my decision. I'm ready to stop the count, if you will. It's gonna be Press Taylor. Now, sitting there listening to Mike McCoy break it down, because once again, Brent, we're on the same page here, right? Like, it's just the whole chain of command and everything. And he seemed like he didn't ever like show any hesitation when he was talking about it, right? Like, it just seemed natural. It was flowing. Yeah. Press Taylor's calling the plays. I mean, he seemed more unnatural when you asked him the first question, because I think he thought that the play calling question was going to come, because his eyes kind of like looked a little annoyed in the first question that you asked him. So nicely done there, Brent, on everybody's radar right now. What?
I said, Mike, how you doing? I mean,
Hamby.
What are you suffering into this stuff?
Do we have the video? Just the first 10 seconds is all I need.
Yep.
Okay, yep. Watch his eyes. Watch Mike McCoy's eyes. Show it one more time. He's like, I got to deal with this guy again? One more time.
Maybe it's a Super Bowl for Burrow. Mike,
Watch the eyes, Brent.
How are you doing? Great. How are you?
Oh, he's so annoyed at you because he knows the question's coming. Brent, as Tony Montana once said, man, the eyes don't lie, Chico. And those eyes didn't lie there. He was not impressed to see you. Now, getting back to my point real quick.
One more time?
One more time. Oh, this dude again?
Mike,
We can't shake him. I thought he had a show to do. I thought he had a show. Dude, he's so upset. Oh, he's so frustrated. Just wants to go home, go over the playbooks and everything. We got Brent Martineau asking who's calling the plays. Brent, you got to start reading into these things, man.
I did not catch that. I did not catch that. I was locked in. I like McCoy. I think McCoy likes me. I think we have a good relationship.
Do we need to show the video one more time? You think he likes you? You think he likes you?
Yeah. Am I reading this wrong?
Hammy, go one more time.
Mike, how are you doing? Great.
That's the exact same look I give when a telemarketer's calling me.
Seeing these quarterbacks.
Oh, here we go. Oh, it was a Wisconsin number. Oh, what? Yes, I am happy with my car's, insurance and regulations, all that stuff. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with my car's extended warranty. I don't need it. Thank you very much. Now, getting back to
me that Mike McCoy's been no, we're not done here yet. Are we talking Mike McCoy's been on the show a lot? Then he's been tuned into the show and he's been listening to us talk about play calling, and that roll of the eyes was, man, you say some stupid stuff. Do you think that's what that was?
I mean, it might have been. I mean, the only thing missing was, hey, where's Austen? I'd much rather talk to him. But now, getting back to my final point, because I think this is important here. I think I may have cracked the code. I really do. Uh-oh. What do the Jaguars... We talked about it before. We talked about what benefit do you have by not announcing who's calling the plays, right? Like, is it gamesmanship? And I've been kind of in that boat for a while. And it's like, how much do you really have to gain from that? Like, not announcing who's calling the plays. They know who's calling the plays, right, Brent? Like, it's not like they're going back and forth right now. They're having in-depth meetings with Shad Khan. Everyone's gathering around like the Illuminati saying, okay, who's calling the plays? Let's not tell him. Like, no. Like, they know who's calling the plays. They just won't tell us. Now, what benefit do you have of not telling us? Well, the benefit that you have, if Taylor's calling the plays, you're not going to say Press Taylor's calling the plays right now, because why? The media is going to question, well, why isn't Doug Peterson? Why isn't the best guy for the job doing that? They don't want that distraction. If Doug Peterson was calling the plays, they could announce it tomorrow. Why? Because now all the media can just go, okay, he's calling the plays. That makes sense. Best guy for the job. On to the next thing. When's Trevor Lawrence getting paid? But they're not doing that. They're not saying anything because I think Press Taylor's going to call the plays and they're trying to avoid that distraction. Everyone knows who's going to call the plays in that building, I think. But they don't want to announce it because they don't want the extra questions that are going to come with it if they announce Press Taylor as the play caller.
Yeah, for the record, you brought this up today, not me. All right, I wasn't bringing play calling up. You brought it up.
Tweeted about it, though.
And I did. Yesterday. That was yesterday. You just saw it this morning. That was Casey put that out. Casey does the social media. That was Casey's fault. He's catching
tweeted about it, though.
Now.
Okay.
But,
okay.
Was that the
engagement?
Something. I don't know.
But hey, by the way, I think your reasoning is very true. But in your scenario, we are the distraction then, because we won't stop talking about it.
No, we are.
So we are kind of a distraction for. I get what you're saying though. You think it would be from this distraction of asking the question because you could put it to bed to more of a distraction because the focus would go all the way to Press Taylor. I get what you're saying, and you might be right. About that, and I think you probably are right, because here's the deal. One thing I'll piggyback here is they've asked these questions. They've had these internal discussions, right after the offseason. This is part of evaluating what you did the year prior, Austen, right? I mean, how do you want to do things mechanically? Should we move things around positionally? Like, do you get, when Holtz goes to Tennessee and gets the OC job and joins the Titans, all right, who you replacing him with? And how's the chemistry around Trevor and who's going to do what and what their roles are? Can you increase your role? Do you back off your role? Do we change our roles? So, these questions have all been asked top down. And I think it's pretty clear that even the Balkies of the world and maybe even Shad Khans are involved with some of these kind of discussions. So you're right. It's not like it hasn't been broached. they've landed on this right now, but they just don't want to say it to see where this thing goes.
Listen, Brent, this is what I do, right? I take all the data, right? I dive deep. I go into the conspiracy theories a little bit every once in a while, right? And when I come out, I come up with a sound theory. And his look that he gave you when you showed up was the same look my mom gave me when I said, hey, Mom, I got an underage on my recruiting trip. Okay? Disappointment. Anger, frustration, and disappointment. You could say Mike McCoy is a nice guy and everything, but everyone's going to agree that's the look that he gave Brent Martineau. Now, why? Brent's a nice guy, right? Like we all love Brent Martineau. Helps us all out. But he's been asking that question a lot in terms of who's calling the plays. So I guarantee Mike McCoy knows about it. Obviously, Doug Peterson knows about it, and so does Press Taylor. So how do you stop the narrative? How do you stop the question of, the scrutiny that's going to come with Press Taylor when he gets announced as the play caller? You don't announce it till week 1 of the regular season, because that way you avoid all the distractions. We go from who's calling the plays to, well, what happened against the Dolphins, right? So that's what I think is going on. Brent, I mean, if anything, man, like, don't feel so bad about it. Like, you help crack the case as well. So Mike McCoy doesn't like you. He thinks you're annoying. It's all good, man. Welcome to sports journalism, right? Come on.
Yeah. How this has been a big offseason.
Ain't no friends in the industry, as Drake would say.
How many more? What's the over/under on how many more times, if we don't know until the season, that I ask this question? Should I stop asking or keep asking?
Please keep asking, because
double down and triple
double down,
quadruple down,
double down. Because okay, I mean, we're not even in like mini camp. Like, we're not even training camp yet. Imagine like Mike McCoy a month from now when he sees Brent Martineau. I mean, I can't wait.
Every opportunity.
But listen, I know this is a big season for a lot of reasons. I'm just happy because I can't wait to see how these coaches react when they see Brent Martineau every single day, and they keep getting grilled with the same question over and over again.
Yeah, this is unfair, by the way. These are fair questions, so they can't take it out on me. I'm just asking the question.
Poking and prodding, man. Listen, I'm not mad, Brent. I've been supporting you. I've been hyping you up. I'm with you. Okay. Now maybe people in that building downtown aren't with you, but I'm with you. Hamby's with you. That's all that matters, man. Come on now.
Yeah, I hear you.
We're not gonna kiss the ring. We're not gonna just be bought by Lobster Bisque. You're gonna ask the hard-hitting questions. You're gonna ruffle some feathers. You're gonna kick down some doors. It's what you do.
That's what we do here on the Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network and the Brent and Austen show. Great diagnosis, by the way. Thank you for bringing that up again. Another 12 minutes gone by here in our 3-hour show on play calling on the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's not a Friday. Like he's worried about it. All right, let's go talk college baseball then. Let's get it.
Yeah, well, we will when we come back, probably. We'll visit with a couple of Florida State Seminoles, and I'll catch my breath. Miller and Moulton, Brent and Austen show. And then we have an encore Cup Date, a week with Action Sports Shacks. And after the game, our newest show debuted this week with Kevin Sullivan and Josh Baker. Hope you can check that out. And then later tonight, obviously, the Armada play, too. So we've got a heck of a lineup all the way through from 6 a.m. until about 9 tonight here on the Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network. We'll be right back from Best Bet, St. Augustine.
We all have our favorite spots in town to eat, drink, and have a good time. And once in a while, we try a new spot. This new spot will soon become your favorite spot. It's 1937 Spirits and Eatery in San Marco. Where else can you get unicorn fish? It was really good. They have local fresh seafood. Try a terrific burger or a Jack's Hot Chicken sandwich. The ambiance is perfect for any occasion. The idea here is to have fun, have a good time. Whether you're chilling out on the couches, cozying up to the bar, having lunch or dinner, it's a throwback experience. 1937, when going out to dinner was like going to a party. They even have a photo booth. Who doesn't like a good photo booth? We recently brought the entire team out to try it, and everyone said, I'm bringing my significant other here to try it as well. The new spot becomes your favorite spot. Make 1937 Spirits and Eatery in San Marco your new favorite spot.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242. You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing. Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Maybe you need a new tankless water heater or something a bit more intricate. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242 or cgcwater.com. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
The friendliest golf course in town, the Golf Club at Southampton. Local golfers have no shortage of options when it comes to picking a course to play here in Northeast Florida year-round. Yet time and time again, I find myself here at the Golf Club at Southampton. Easy to get to off 210 in St. Johns County. It's family-owned and operated and renowned for being one of the area's most player-friendly. That's just one of the reasons we hold the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 charity golf tournament here each fall. The Mark McCumber design layout is great for all skill levels of golfers, from the guys who bomb it a mile on the range to golfers like me who are just happy to put it in the fairway, which Southampton has very accommodating fairways. And if you need new clubs, come down to the pro shop. They'll fit you up and get you a nice new set like they did for me. For more information on membership or to book a tee time and see for yourself, head over to golfsouthampton.com or call the clubhouse at 904-287-7529. The Golf Club at Southampton. It's the official home of the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18. Make it your home for golf too.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Springs, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Hey, look at Florida State baseball, and man, what a season they're having under Link Jarrett. You know, last year wasn't a great season for the first time in decades, missing that postseason, but they are back in a big-time way, and now just 2 wins away from going back to Omaha. What I love about Link Jarrett, he's been so open about, hey, we have one mission. It's to win national championship. Of course, Florida State, with their rich program tradition in baseball, and Mike Martin, the legend, they were never able to win it. They got there so many times, so close. And now, maybe there's a chance they can in year 2 under Link Jarrett, which would be pretty amazing. Brent Martineau here at Best Bet St. Augustine, Austen Lane, back in the Action Sports Jack studios, along with Jason Hamby. And Ronan's hanging out back there, playing a little Miss Pac-Man. Olivia Tasley downtown. She's going to help us connect with Chad Muma as the kids are asking a bunch of questions at Muma's camp. So that's been delayed a little bit. They've got a whole program going on down there, and there's a live look at what's happening at the stadium with Jaguars linebacker and the camp that he's hosting. So we'll talk to Chad hopefully in a little bit, and we'll even talk to a little bit of Armada coming up in the noon hour, because again there's a match tonight. You can catch that on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. We've got a lot going on. What a wild Friday. That's what Fridays are for, I guess, here in the month of June, as everybody gets ready for a little bit of a summer vacation. Speaking of Florida State baseball, I love this part of it, and everybody's got a different story, and, you know, we really follow baseball around here in Jacksonville. We know it's good. I don't know if there's enough there's definitely pride. I don't know if people brag about it enough, how good baseball is in Jacksonville, how many big leaguers we've produced, how many big-time college baseball players, how many guys are in the coaching ranks, some of the great programs in high school that we have. And I think we celebrate that a little bit more than ever, which is awesome, but maybe still not enough. It's so good, and all you have to do is go to Tallahassee. The Florida State Seminoles have a handful of players that are from this area. In fact, they have 2 Bartram Trail players, 2 Creekside, and 1 Clay. So that alone shows you the talent from Jacksonville. Well, 4 of those guys really have been key contributors. Brody DeLamielleure is a redshirt. He's actually playing summer ball up in Minnesota right now, and he'll be a contributor there because he's a heck of a player. But 4 of the other guys have been massive contributors. Connor Holtz out of the bullpen, pitched 29 innings, but they've been big innings at times, especially down the stretch. And then 3 guys have been mainstays pretty much in the lineup. Alex Lodis at shortstop out of Bartram, Daniel Cantu out of Creekside at first base, and Max Williams from Clay High School. He's been in the outfield. And we had a chance yesterday to catch up with Connor and Max as they get ready for first pitch coming up at noon in the Super Regionals, 2 wins away from Omaha, and talk about their journeys and also getting so close to getting to go back to the College World Series.
What a fun ride it's been for the Florida State baseball team, and really a fun ride if you're a Jacksonville baseball fan and watching all these local guys do well. And that includes the 2 guests right now, Max Williams and Connor Holtz, and they join us from Tallahassee as they get set for a big super regional and a couple wins away from Omaha. Hopefully, hey guys, hopefully you're having as much fun playing and winning as we are watching you.
Yes, sir. It's been real fun over here, so hope you guys are enjoying the show back home.
Yeah, I bet. What about the Jacksonville connection? It's unbelievable. You two, and obviously Clay and Creekside, and obviously you got Lodis, and they just keep going. I know Brody's on his way to the summer now, but is it fun to be able to know so many folks that come out of this area that you knew growing up and now playing college ball with them?
Yeah, it's awesome. We're all different ages too, so I know him and Lodis probably played together more than me and Lodis did, but, we always knew each other's names and always knew that we're good ball players, and being able to come together this year and play for the Noles has been really fun for us. So.
Yeah, what about you, Max?
Yeah, I just think it shows how good baseball in Jacksonville has been, just the last decade or so. There's a lot of guys from Jacksonville that are playing in the ACC, SEC. So there's a lot of talent from the Jacksonville area for sure.
Let's talk about your stories a little bit too, because this collection of talent really just kind of got together under Link Jarrett in Tallahassee. And Connor, your story is an interesting one, man. A different path from Creekside to Jacksonville, junior college, and now here at Tallahassee. I love the journeys. How challenging has been the journey been, and how much of it's paying off now that you're in the situation you're in.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you go into college thinking everything's going to be rainbows and butterflies, but sadly, that's not the case. I went into Jacksonville very confident. Was ready to have a good season. And sometimes things just don't work out. Had to battle some injuries, and I never started firing on all cylinders. And I don't know what it was, but I felt like I needed a new change of scenery. So I chose to take the junior college route. Spent a year at State College of Florida, and kind of found myself through the process. Learned what worked for me. Learned what it took to succeed. So I was able to go to the junior college level and perform like I know how to perform and get back to who I am. And lucky enough, was able to get recruited by Florida State last year. And obviously that's a dream come true for me. So being able to keep my head high through it all and, battle the adversity that I had to go through definitely helped me find myself through the process. And I'm able to come out on top of the ball sometimes. And now being able to compete for a super regional and a chance to go to Omaha is truly a dream come true. So.
Max, you're a little bit different of a story. Obviously, you go to Alabama first and Tuscaloosa. Where did it change for you, and how did you land in Tallahassee after initially going from Clay to the SEC in Alabama?
I was at Alabama, and then obviously we had our coach got fired for some stuff. So I decided to enter the portal, and, talking to Link and the people that are here, I just felt Tallahassee was going to be a good fit for me.
Well, it seems like it has. If you take all those journeys and where you've been, and you probably 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whatever it is, you can't imagine you're on the doorstep of Omaha. Connor, what you went through, have you pictured that yet? Or is it like, wait a minute, I'm not going to get ahead of ourselves?
Yeah, it's easy for me to kind of get ahead of myself and, get excited and get, different kinds of emotion, but being able to contain that emotion and know that we have a bigger task at hand right now is definitely where my mind's at. But obviously, there's some times where you have to take a step back and enjoy where you're at and appreciate the moment. So at the end of the day, you can't really ask for much more.
Max, how much fun is this team having? How much fun are you having? But obviously when you're winning games, it's kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, this is an awesome team. I think there's a lot of personality on this team. I think each player kind of plays with their own type of swag, whether it's the pitchers or the hitters. We kind of all just play our own game, and when we're all firing at the right time, it's a fun thing to watch.
Does it feel good to come in here and contribute the way you have, Max? And I'll ask you this too, Connor, but obviously last year was a down year for Florida State. That's very unusual for Florida State baseball, and now, boom, you guys have come right back and having a tremendous year, and you know where you're at. So the guys take some pride in that. Do you guys take some pride in that, helping get it back on track?
Oh, for sure. Our team goal all along was to be in Omaha. So, just kind of coming in, we all collectively thought that that's the end goal. So, Coach always talks about taking it one pitch at a time. So if we all just kind of take it easy and play for each other, I think we got a good chance of getting it back on track.
Connor, how much talk about the high school days happened, especially with Lodis and those guys, those Bartram Trail guys? You guys rib each other? You talk about when you were playing down in St. Johns County or playing against Clay, or how much does that come up?
Yeah, we usually just throw each other some cold shoulders sometimes, talk a little smack with each other. But at the end of the day, it's just because we know that, we're all competitors and we all want to beat each other at the end of the day. But now that we get to play together and beat other people is fun instead of just beating the guy next to you.
Hey, you were known coming out of Creekside for that curveball. It looks like it's working. I think it's got 29 innings, but they've been big innings that you've pitched, and it looks like you've pitched in big spots and delivered. Has that thing really been working for you, or what has been working for you in these big moments?
Yeah, no, it's definitely my curveball for me. Being able to just have just uber confidence in that pitch, knowing that if I can get my best one off, it's going to be hard for the hitter. And obviously, I do throw other pitches, but it's at the end of the day, it's curveball until it's not. And then if I can sneak a fastball in there, sneak a changeup in there, and I can land it, it's a bonus. But at the end of the day, you're getting a curveball, and I'm willing to throw that offer to you and wish you luck.
Max, it looks like you found a little bit of that home run swing here in the last month or so. What's been the difference for you, and how well are you seeing it?
I would say I'm just trying to – earlier in the year, I was kind of chasing some off-speed out of the zone. So I've kind of just learned to trust my hands, trust my body, and just see pitches. So the more I can see it, the longer I can see it, typically the better I'm going to be at hitting the ball. So just been working on my pitch recognition.
How do you stay focused on this weekend, guys? This is a good team coming in, or they wouldn't be here. It's a veteran team. Obviously, you've heard all about that. These guys, a lot of these guys are older players. What do you guys have to do to get where you want to go this next couple of days?
I think at this point it's a super regional. It's at home, so we're gonna be excited. We're gonna be amped up. That's just kind of all a given. I think as long as we focus at the task in hand and like Coach always says, just one pitch at a time, we don't get too far into the future, I think we'll be fine if we play our game.
Yeah, absolutely. Just being able to just treat it like another game is going to be our biggest thing. And, our fans are going to be on our side, like Max said. So that's a bonus on top. And, we have to go out there and deliver the response that the people want to see. So we just got to take it one pitch at a time and, go deliver and do what we know how to do.
Hey, baseball is a sport where you don't always get this kind of atmosphere, right? You got to create your own energy. But what is it like playing in this atmosphere, especially when so much is on the line last weekend? Can you give us an idea what that's like?
It's top notch. It's top notch stuff. I mean, being out on the mound and just hearing this, it's just unlimited support. Everybody's on your side. And, that's kind of what you want going into a super regional is people on your side, and being able to have that right now is definitely an advantage, but still have to go deliver at the end of the day.
Max, you saw a little bit of this last year too, I think, at Alabama. But I mean, what's it like, playing in these? Do you stop and look around a little bit? Do you soak it in? I mean, have you been able to do that?
I mean, I think every game before pregame, the national anthem and stuff, it starts to really hit you man, this is sick. But then once you're in the game, I think it's more tunnel vision. You're focused at the task. But it's awesome, whenever we score a run or something, just to see how crazy the crowd goes. It's nuts.
Max, how good is this baseball? I mean, obviously you guys are at the top of the game in the college ranks. How good are these guys, especially as old as they are, and how much experience there is right now in college baseball specifically?
Yeah, I would say especially with how the transfer portal and stuff is, I think college baseball is about as competitive as it gets. Every team's got a guy that's mid to high 90s. Everyone's got plus stuff. Everyone's got guys that can swing the bat. I think just baseball as a whole is at one of the best it's been right now.
Connor, has it been an adjustment to that, or has this been gradual enough where you're like, hey, it's baseball at the end of the day, I got to make my pitches?
Yeah, I mean, at first it was wow, this is we're here, we're going to do it. So, being able to gradually just gain the experience along the way and, being able to feel comfortable in these environments has definitely been something new for me, but I think I thrive in these environments and look at it from a bigger picture sometimes and just slow the game down and, just give my team a chance to win.
All right, I'll let you guys go, but give me a moment. I'm going to put you on the spot. This is always tough, but you guys have had a bunch of wins. You've had a bunch of cool moments so far. I just saw Max last week catching a ball like Michael Jordan logo. I mean, what at the wall. What's your moment so far for each one of you that kind of sticks out in the image as I ask that question?
I'd say for me, the most fun that I had this year was on Saturday versus Miami. It was a very close ball game, one or two run ball game, and I was able to come in the ninth inning and close it down and end the game with the strikeout. And I got the fans yelling K time, and being able to deliver the strikeout and get very excited, very emotional on the mound, and get dap up the whole team, whatever it is. That was definitely my moment for me, just being able to close out that Miami series and secure the series win right there. So
I think for me, I'd say either probably the leadoff home run against Chase Burns at Wake. That was pretty sick. Or the first game of regionals, I had a leadoff home run against Stetson. That one was pretty cool just because we had the whole crowd there. It was pretty sick.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Well, hey, I hope for both of you guys, you got one more big moment coming this weekend, and that one will probably take the cake. But tell all those Jacksonville guys hello. We're wishing you guys all luck, and maybe we'll see you out in Omaha. Good luck to the rest of the North.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
And the Noles will play, by the way, today at noon. So a half hour away from first pitch in Tallahassee. We'll have the Super Regionals covered. The Gators play at Clemson starting tomorrow. It's a busy weekend in college baseball. Really a fun one if you love college ball. Oklahoma just won the Softball World Series. So I'll have it covered for you on Action Sports Shacks primetime, 10:30 on Fox 30, 11:30 on CBS 47, Saturday and Sunday. Part of a busy Action Sports Shacks weekend that continues until 1 o'clock today at Best Bet St. Augustine here on the Brent and Austen Show when we come back.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot, any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
It was a quiet weekend at Southern Oak Stadium with both the men's and women's teams away from home in our latest Armada Minute. The boys in blue snapped a 2-game losing streak and did it in emphatic fashion with a 4-0 victory in their first ever meeting with the Miami Dutch Lions. Sebastian Zettel, Alex Iarides, Noah Kavif, and Callum Frogson all finding the back of the net in South Florida. Next up, a Friday night home matchup against longtime rivals, the New Orleans Jesters, at 7 p.m. The women's under-23 squad picked up 3 points from a pair of games in Southwest Florida, topping Gulf Coast 4-0, but falling to Cape Coral 2-0. A home crowd will be a nice change of pace on Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. as the Fleet plays host to the West Florida Flames. Tickets are available for both matches on JacksonvilleArmada.com, and I'll have the call on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network this weekend. I'm Stuart Weber with your Jacksonville Armada Minute.
Burgers or breakfast, you can get it all at Whataburger. Try something new on the menu or an all-time favorite like the Whataburger Patty Melt. And now you can have breakfast here at Whataburger 12 hours a day, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. Menu items like the bacon taquito, sausage taquito, honey butter chicken biscuit. Whether you work the late night shift, just want a snack early in the morning to get your day started, or a little pick-me-up late in the morning, 12 hours a day, breakfast served, 11 p.m. until 11 a.m. A dozen locations in Jacksonville. You can order pickup or delivery and download the Whataburger app. New rewards members get free Whataburger items when placing their first online order. Just download the app. And for us coffee drinkers, Whataburger has all new hot coffee and iced coffee too. Satisfy that coffee craving at Whataburger 24/7, and it comes in a variety of flavors. Burgers, breakfast, coffee, and so much more. Whataburger, just like you like it.
The Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network is streaming. I'm Stuart Weber, and I'm here to teach you a nice 3-step process on how you can watch all your favorite programming from the Brent and Austen Show every weekday 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. or the Cup Date with me. It's fantastic. We talk NASCAR. It's a great time. Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. All right, first step, easy. Download the Action News Jacks app. You probably already have it downloaded on your phone, so you might already have that one taken care of. Step 2, see that stack of pancakes up there? You click that stack of pancakes, and it's going to bring down step number 3, which is a full screen of all the different streams that you can click on, including the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 stream. You click that, the video's rocking and rolling on your mobile device. You're watching all the shows you want to, and you're having a good time. You can also do it on your smart TV with the Action News Jacks Now app. I do it on my Samsung TV at home. It's a great way to watch it on a nice, large screen for all the content. That's the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Hope you can find it.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town, and I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one-card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One-card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Well, we got a lot going on here on the show today. There's a look at the stadium once again and the Miller Electric Center, as well as the Jags will have mandatory minicamp coming up Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll see if Doug keeps everybody that long, but Josh Allen be back in town, and we expect full participation. I think the Jaguars do as well for all their healthy guys. And also going on at the stadium, Chad Muma is hosting a camp and an event, an education one as well, about diabetes and the story of his NFL career, really his life, and handling that. So we will hopefully have a chance to catch up with Chad a little bit later here on the show. Olivia Tassley is down there. We are live at Best Bet St. Augustine, or at least I am, and Action Sports Jax Studios has Austen Lane and Jason Hamby and Ronan as well. So hopefully you guys are all doing well back there here on a Friday. Some programming notes, by the way. Austin and Casey and Hamby and, well, the team of producers and directors will have the show next week. I'll be out of town. And then we take a little bit of a hiatus, which we've done in the past. And that late summer hiatus for us, change some things around, add some things, gear up for the football season. And well, we even started that a little bit earlier today. We had to reboot the system here on the show. But we will have that coming up, of course, in the next few weeks. So it's kind of a wild June that will lead to a really fun football season ahead. Hello, Jason Hamby. What's happening? You've had your hands full today, young man.
It's been a whirlwind so far, but we're handling it.
You're the right guy for the job. We got you a couple days this week. You're actually going. You're not around that much these next couple of weeks either. You got the Travel Ballers, the 14U team, I think it is, right?
That's right. We got a couple of tournaments coming up. One in Destin, and one in Space Coast. A couple of week longs, and then we got one in Nashville in July as well. But we're gonna go seeking a trophy.
I like it, man. And keep in mind, too, obviously we're taking a well-deserved break from everything. You know, we're all going our separate ways. But when Trevor Lawrence does sign his contract when we're gone, because, you know, that's going to happen, be sure to turn to the national news to get all the hot takes in terms of how they paid him too much. Can't wait to hear about all this.
Yeah, we by the way, you think if I'm like in California or something, you think I'm really not going to jump on here and talk Trevor Lawrence in some way, shape, or form?
Oh, I know.
Sorry, Steph and the kids.
I know.
Now, Ty might be joining me for that one, but we're having a little special break-in, which we can do here on the network. So we're gonna break in. I was thinking of that. What are the odds that happens? Seriously, I think it probably will, because we're saying that. We are going to have a big thing that happens probably while we're gone, and that's the stadium, hopefully approval. I think a lot of people would say, listen to our show, hopefully an approval by City Council. That could come on June 25th. So we'll probably miss that storyline, but it's a storyline we've discussed a bunch. What do you guys think the odds are that he gets a deal done like prior to the 4th of July, or do you think it comes a little bit closer to camp?
I think it comes a little closer to camp, but like before the preseason's done.
Hamby, you got something?
I mean, I'll take last week of July. I had to pinpoint, just because why not? Seems like things are trending the right way, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like we're gonna get one in the next week or two.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I know I wouldn't be stunned whenever it happened. I wouldn't be stunned if it happened tomorrow. You know, I'm not predicting it's going to happen tomorrow. But I think we feel like it's going to get in. I don't think it's a slam dunk that it gets done, but I think it's like a 90 percentile thing that it gets done, is the way I feel about it. And I also think your camp, I believe, is July 25th. Now, quarterbacks report a little earlier than that. I don't know if his report date will necessarily impact the contract. I think the start of camp could impact the contract. Like, so July 25th, 24th, when players report, sometime around there. I think if it's not done by then, you start to wonder if it's going to get done, because really we just haven't heard Trevor say it in front of a microphone, hey, I don't want to even talk about it once camp starts. We haven't heard him say that necessarily, but I wouldn't be surprised to hear him say that. A lot of players do that, right? They're like, hey, time to focus on the football season, no go. There's 2 deadlines for that. One's right at camp, usually the one's right at the start of the season. But I think a lot of these guys kind of favor once camp starts, the season has started. So I don't want to discuss it anymore. So I think we're probably looking at the next 6 weeks, which gives them time to iron it out. Also, interestingly enough, it took about, 2 months to figure out the Josh Allen big deal. And now we've had discussions, it looks like, for the last couple of months on Trevor. So that would lead into that same timeline, 2 to 3 months, maybe even a little bit longer for a bigger deal. So I think the timing adds up to maybe be right around camp time for Trevor Lawrence.
Do you think, real quick, Brent, do you think that kind of the delay and maybe, a lot of parties are waiting to see in terms of the next quarterback to get paid, where it's almost like a game of double Dutch, we're all right, who's going to go in next? Yeah. Who's going to not hit the ropes? Because, with Josh Allen, we knew it was going to happen, but those chips really fell into play once Brian Burns got paid and kind of reset the market a little bit. Then it was Josh Allen's turn. So are we kind of waiting for a shoe to drop here, whether it's Tua, whether it's Brock, whether it's Jordan Love, or whether it's Trevor Lawrence? Do you think and I'm not sure who the representation is, I'm not sure who the agents are and everything, but you get the feeling like each one's trying to watch the other to say who's making the first move and then make a move off that move.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And I think with these guys, there's reason to believe, we've had this discussion so many different ways, that Trevor might be standing in the best situation of them all. Now, that's debatable. We've had debates on that. But I think if you're his camp, you can say, hey, we're better than Tua, we're better than Purdy, we're better than, right? So the longer you wait, maybe it does fall in line that way. I don't think that's the end-all, be-all for these guys. I don't think that's what they're waiting on. But I also don't believe, or I think if I am his camp, you bring up a good point, why not wait a little bit, or at least as long as we can, to see if one shoe does drop and we get another $1 million out of it, or whatever it is. Yeah. I don't think that will necessarily delay it. I think that can add to the equation and the puzzle of getting it done, but I don't necessarily think that's going to delay it. I think everybody they know where they're at, right? I mean, my guess by now, they're pretty. The way they've talked about this thing, my understanding is that they got to be pretty dialed into where this fits on a line. Now it's just dialing in those, the I's, crossing the T's, adding another zero. Where do you slide this money? What's the percentage look like? There are definitely some more things to iron out, but I got to believe on the sliding scale of where this fits, they're in the same neighborhood, or we wouldn't be talking about it in front of microphones.
I mean, I hear you there, but once again, at least I didn't see Jared Goff being the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Per yearly basis, obviously,
Yeah, Austin, I'm telling you, man, I think that goes back to our conversation a little bit yesterday, and I think I'm going to keep giving Delphonic some credit here. I think this goes back to that percentage deal. I believe we don't want Hamby doing the math on this, but I think the percentage part of this
catch strays in every show.
Because you strayed yourself when you spent 30 minutes on a math problem that didn't take that much effort or energy.
There's no way you would have ever gotten that.
But, bro, okay, Brent, I hear what you're saying here, but once again, I go back to Brian Burns. If you look at Brian Burns and Josh Allen, to me it was obvious. You're taking Josh Allen. I think the numbers, I think just what he's shown on the field, you would take Josh Allen. And yeah, Josh Allen is one of the highest paid edge rushers like we thought he was going to be. But I really felt like once Brian Burns, because I was surprised how much money Brian Burns got. So then once Brian Burns got paid that much, and I get the percentages and everything of a salary cap and it all goes up, but $50 million is still $50 million, right? And Jared Goff's getting $53 million a year. So I do think that there is a little bit of let's wait and see what happens with one of these other players quick to see how much they're getting, because then we can go, well, I feel like I'm a better quarterback than him. Give me more money.
Yeah, and you might be right, and I think there is some of that posturing, but I come back to $53 million today is probably $47 or $48 million yesterday, or 3 years ago, whatever it is. It's the same with Burns, man. I'm kind of looking at these contracts in a new way, and I do think what we see is that annual. I get it. That's kind of how we operate, but that's not necessarily how they operate. And if you're an agent, you're definitely operating under the percentage way, because if the cap keeps going up, that means your guys' stuff keeps going up. If you're a player, you want to do that. You want to play the percentage game. Now, where does that come down to an agreement? I don't know, but I wonder if you even take the Burns one. I don't think we've looked at it, but if you take the Burns compared to, I don't know what guy signed a big deal most recent, maybe it was Nick Bosa. All right, Nick Bosa has this huge deal, or a TJ Watt, or whatever. If you take that percentage, then maybe Burns really isn't getting $2 million less than Nick Bosa necessarily. He's getting about a similar percentage, which inflation has now made it $30 million or $28 million or whatever the numbers are.
So Burns is getting 11% of the cap at signing. TJ Watt's getting 15%, Nick Bosa's getting 15%, Myles Garrett's getting 12%, Josh Allen's getting 11%, Max Crosby's getting 11%.
Okay, so
uniquely,
but how much, or the dollars? Do you remember? Like, how much does TJ or Nick Bosa get paid per year?
I mean, per year.
Do you know?
Yeah, I mean, I can look it up quick. So per year, TJ's getting $28 million. Nick Bosa's getting 34. Myles Garrett's getting 25. Josh Allen's getting 28. But now keep in mind, TJ Watt was 4-year deal too.
About 28. Okay. So I think TJ Watt's number doesn't that jump out at you? Like TJ Watt's getting the same as Burns?
Yeah, but like the percentage of the cap, TJ's a lot higher.
That's exactly what I'm kind of trying to say. Even though his percentage, Burns, is 4% lower, the inflation of the cap has made it the exact same value by year.
Okay.
Which is, I know, it's a bad math problem. You get a headache.
Getting a headache. Yep. But but quarterbacks, Joe Burrow's 24%. So this is kind of crazy though. So Joe Burrow is 24%. He's the highest, obviously. Then you have Josh Allen at 23, Justin Herbert at 23, Lamar Jackson at 23, Patrick Mahomes at 22, Jalen Hurts at 22. So, like, yeah, once again, to prove your point, I mean, Jared Goff is only at 20% as opposed to the quarterbacks from a couple years ago who count more against it.
Yeah, so I think let's just take Jared Goff for example. There, if you get 20% of the cap right now, you're going to close in on Burrow's number, but you're really like 5% lower or 4% lower on that number. So again, it just depends which way you look at it. I think there are a lot of numbers to look at. The percentage of the cap, the guaranteed money, the signing bonus, the overall value of the deal. It just depends what you like. Listen, I
can't do this, man. I mean,
you brought it up.
It's a cry for. I know, and I immediately regretted it. All right.
Hey, guess who else is sleeping? Guess who else is sleeping?
Ronan?
That kid. I just got up.
He just got up.
No, I was gonna say I thought you meant my son. No, my son is salivating at all the math talk because he loves it. He's sometimes I wonder if there's a little paternity test involved, but we're all good right now. He's still tall, so I feel like he takes after me. But look at Chad Muma getting after it, man. Looking good, looking in great shape here.
That's Austen.
Oh, what's this drill right here?
Lying on the ground.
Oh, that's me. Yeah. That is me for sure. I thought you meant that was Austen, like in terms of a player by the name, like last name is Austen. I'm like, I don't know who that is. Man, Chad Muma looking good.
Looks like Foyer's out there.
Yeah, it looks like got some. Is that Foyer? Okay, it's a small box for me to see, but yeah, got some other players helping out there at the flex field. So this is cool. Chad Muma's mini camp and Olivia Tassley giving us a live look at it.
So this mini camp's obviously it's geared towards nutrition too as well. So is this just for kids with diabetes and things, or is anybody allowed to go to that camp?
That's a good question.
Hey, Ronan, why aren't you out there right now?
The invite, I'll give you a little.
You're playing video games in here. You could be running with Chad Muma.
Obviously, he's trying to educate folks about tandem diabetes, right? They call it T1D. Okay. And so it is with diabetes. It's 100 kids with diabetes in the Jacksonville area. And so that's part of this camp. And then they obviously get to meet the Jags and Chad. They did a nutrition session, which obviously is very important if you're dealing with diabetes. And they got to ask questions. And what Olivia said, they were asking a lot of questions.
Yeah.
which, by the way, you would, right? I mean, because he's such a successful story in getting to the NFL. And there are very few players across the league that have been able to do this. And so a pretty cool day out there. And Chad's done a great job with this. He's a super nice guy, and he's done a great job sharing his message, his story, and he's seen a lot of inspiration around the country. We've had him on other shows in the past, including ours, talking about this, and hopefully we'll get him on before the end of the show today. But obviously he's having a good time putting on a camp with the kids down there at the Flex Field. Hey, I'll get away from the math unless you want to go back to it.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that that's one thing I probably won't sneak my son into for a football camp, though, is obviously a camp like that. But I was going to say, have I ever told you the story about my birthday, what me and my son did at Adventure Landing?
Oh, here we go.
No.
Okay. I mean, I feel like the statute of limitations have passed, but if not, whatever, man. It is what it is. But so it was my birthday on a Thursday, and I had it in my dream. We're gonna have a whole day of things that I wanted to do. So, for instance, we ate tacos at noon, then we ate tacos for dinner, and then after that, we walked to Adventure Landing. Yeah, hey, come on, man. I love tacos. So we walked to Adventure Landing, and my vision was we're gonna ride go-karts all night till the sun comes up. That's what he wanted to do. Well, Adventure Landing had a private event where they were hosting a school with kids, and it was just for that school. Well, hey, it's my birthday, and there's go-karts involved. So what did we do? We lied with the application, said that my son, I think it was it Providence? Might have been Providence School. I don't know.
Oh, my gosh, my old school.
Yeah, it was one of the schools, and we had So we had to go in there, and I had to sign them up and everything because it was a discount, right? So usually you had to pay $50 for a wristband, all you can drive on the go-kart tracks and video games and laser tag. Well, it was a $20 night, but once again, it was only catered to the kids of this certain school. I think it was Providence. And so we had to sign my son up, and then they asked my son, who's your teacher? And I go, I go, he's kind of shy. I think it's Mr. Smith. I didn't even say a name. I was like, Mr. Smith. And they're like, who? I'm like, Mrs. Smithinson. And they're like, just go ahead and write it down. I'm like, okay, I'll write it down. Obviously, chicken scratch, cursive. Couldn't even read what the name I wrote down, but we got in. And then so we had a blast, killed the go-kart track, killed laser tag with a bunch of students who had no idea who we were, but we didn't care. We're in our own little world. But then after, because I had to put my email down, so then after, they reached out to me and saying, who was your teacher again? And I just said, I honestly didn't respond to the email. I have 100,000 unread ones. Didn't respond to the email. So, who's ever school that we crashed for the fun? Hey, I donated the money. I donated the fees to get into it. So, relax. But thanks for hosting us on my birthday. Yeah.
I love the best part of this story is, so how old's Ronan at the time?
Oh, dude, he would have been 8.
This was last year?
Yeah. Correct. What?
The statute of limitations
I missed
have
that
not
part.
passed, by the way, okay?
Oh, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? You going to arrest me? You going to arrest me for sneaking into a school function that wasn't mine? Come on.
I'm in my head. There's 3 things going on in my head right now.
Okay.
I'm thinking statute of limitations. Okay, so that's a 7-year thing, I believe, or something like that.
Okay.
Ronan's 9.
Yeah.
So when did we do this? And then also, I'm stuck on the fact that this is your birthday, not his.
Yes. Okay. And what? Brent, you mean to tell me when it's your birthday, you don't celebrate how you want to celebrate?
How old?
Yeah, just
how old? What am I?
Was this 36?
Yes, this is my 36th birthday. And
the only thing that would have made this story better.
We rode go-karts the whole night long.
The only thing that would have made this story better is if for whatever reason Ronan was put on the sidelines and it was just you out there with a bunch of 8-year-olds.
No, No, I am. I'm going to be honest.
You're bumping them all around, tailgating them.
Yeah. Go-karts was awesome because, like, it was just literally me and him. Like, for whatever reason, all the kids were attracted to laser tag, suckers. We had the go-kart track all to ourselves. But when it was time to play laser tag, and I'm not saying I was set up or anything, and my son can attest to this, my gun didn't work at all. Like, I was literally going through there for 10 minutes with a non-working gun, just getting blasted because, well, I'm 6'6", and all these kids are like 4 feet tall. So I stuck out like a sore thumb, and I was wearing a white T-shirt too. So like the white T-shirt and the black light, it was game over. I was a walking teddy bear just to shoot, basically, and they got it in on me. And I wouldn't hear the end of it. Like all these little kids, we beat you. I'm like, yeah, because my gun doesn't work. But whatever.
He's getting pissed off.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little irate. I was a little ticked, and I almost walked out like halfway through that game of laser tag. But I had to make sure my son was good.
And by the way, you don't have to lie. After this story, I can picture you being irate.
I was.
This meant a lot to you.
But I'm gonna be honest. Really pissed off, yeah. Because then at the end they have to show you because you almost like it's like you're locked in the laser tag game, and then when you come out of it, you go in this room and they show the scores and everything, and it's like, all right, who's player number 5? Oh, little Bryson or whatever. Oh, that was me. Get the high score. Oh. Who's player number 20 without any? And I'm like, yeah, that was me because my gun didn't work. And then all the kids are laughing and stuff. So yeah, I was a little mad about that. But
you got bullied by
oh, dude, I was getting shook by a bunch of 8-year-olds. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Man, this is straight out. This is like a Saturday Night Live skit. Like I'm picturing like Will Ferrell in the middle of all this.
I mean, yeah, I get. Like, listen, I didn't envision playing laser tag. That was more for my son, so maybe it was my son's birthday at the end of the day because I didn't want to play laser tag. But as long as I ended up getting the go karts in, played some Guitar Hero, I was happy.
That is the greatest story yet.
Right on. And once again, I apologize. I think it was Providence. I don't know.
I don't know if Providence is taking any trips to Adventure Landing.
I don't know. Well, whoever the school was, they were doing fine with funding, charging me whatever $40 for 2 people to go into this event. So you guys are doing just fine. A lot of families, a lot of kids there. We're all good.
I thought like Adventure Landing was closing a couple years ago, but did something save it?
So it's guaranteed open for another summer, and then I think they're gonna like reevaluate some stuff because I guess they're trying to turn it into like hotels or something or like something fancy. I mean, go figure. But as of right now, this summer they're still open.
Yeah, of course they are. I mean, that land is probably worth quite a bit of money.
True.
Build some houses or hotels or apartments or something over there. What a great story. All right, let's take a break, collect ourselves. I got to wipe the tears away after all that. We think we're going to get Chad Muma in just a little bit. We're going to keep pushing that off, but Liv's going to stay there all day until we get Chad Muma. You can come here all day, Best Bet St. Augustine, and, well, when you play an hour, you get a ticket into that free giveaway for a golf cart later in July. So the next couple of months, you can keep playing here at Best Bet St. Augustine, have a chance to win that wonderful golf cart. And, of course, we've got a big weekend with Poker Atlas Tour event number 1 here this weekend at Best Bet St. Augustine. The final table will be played later on in the weekend. So come on, get in, good luck, and come on down to Best Bet St. Augustine.
I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
It's hard to put a price on comfort, especially when you use that comfort on a daily basis. But if we're going to put a price on it, how does the lowest price guaranteed sound? Furniture Source is going to have the biggest brands, whether it's Ashley, Casper, or Tempur-Pedic, and once again, it's going to be the guaranteed lowest price in Jacksonville. Right now, my friends at Furniture Source are going to give you the ultimate hookup because all month long, they're making their inventory wholesale price. Check out their markdowns up to 50% off. And remember, since it's Furniture Source, you're getting the guaranteed lowest prices in Florida or your money back. Don't have the cash on you right now? It's no worry. Shop endless options to suit your style and budget and enjoy 36 months off with no interest financing. Why use your money when you can use theirs? Whether it's beds, couches, tables, or chairs, Furniture Source is going to have exactly what you're looking for. Shop the lowest prices in Jacksonville guaranteed. Find the location nearest you at FurnitureSourceJacks.com.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Oh man, it is that time. I love being outside, but it is just so hot. Oh my gosh, I cannot be outside. Well, you know, it doesn't have to be. As a matter of fact, I've got the perfect solution for you to be able to stay outdoors and not look like this guy.
GW Outdoor Solutions has the solution that will help you create areas of shade with their automated retractable awning. As the summer months inch closer, the high temperatures will be right there too. With GW Outdoor Solutions, go from scorching to cooling in no time with one simple push of a button. These innovative shade solutions not only provide protection from the sun and rain, but also add style and functionality to your home. Let GW Outdoor Solutions transform your backyard into paradise. Check out GWOutdoorLiving.com for your free estimate.
New to town or always been in town, everyone is always looking for a good pizza place. Our place is Donato's Pizza. We love it and still do love it. When I tell my family I'm coming to Donato's, they say, wait a minute, you got to order some for us. So this is not all for me. Let me tell you what the Martineaus get when we put an order in. Well, pepperoni pizza, we usually get more than one of these. And then there's the works, a little bit of everything. And then this is the pizza that can be polarizing for some out there. I don't know why. Hawaiian pizza, some love it, some don't. At Donato's, you're gonna love it, especially with that cinnamon sprinkled on top. Try the pizza my family likes or try your favorite. Right now, you can use the code BRENT20 and get 20% off your order. Every viewer and listener is important to us, and at Donato's Pizza, every piece is important. From fresh ingredients to the dedicated team members and you, the valued customer. Donato's Pizza, where every piece comes together for a winning combination. Jack's Beach and Mandarin locations. Donato's Pizza, every piece is important.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Well, there's a look at what we've got coming up starting tonight on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. You can find it on the Action News Jax app, actionnewsjax.com. Yeah, we keep telling you about it because we want you to find it. And you can see it, of course, on Google TV, Apple TV, Roku, wherever you stream. And all you have to do is get the Action News Jax Now app on those places. Or you can just go, like I said, to the app and the website or mobile site, however you want to find it on your phone or at home. But you have the Jacksonville Armada tonight. Stuart Weber will have coverage of the men's match at 6:30. Match starts at 7. And then tomorrow the women play at 3 o'clock. Once again, coverage starts at 2:30. Those are both on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. We had to slide the Kingfish Shootout, the old school Kingfish Shootout, to the Action News Jax Now stream. But it's right next to our 24/7 network, so you can just flip back and forth. And we'll replay them all. on Sunday. We are live at Chad Muma's mini camp this Friday morning, and that's Olivia Tassley giving us a live look. Nice throw, kid. He got it in there. And the kids are looking like they're having a lot of fun doing different drills, and some Jaguars players are helping the kids out participate. Chad Muma leading the charge here, and hopefully we'll get a chance to
is that Riley Patterson?
Hey, I'll tell you, whoever that kid was right there, hey, Daniel Jones better watch your spot because that kid's got some skills.
Okay, that's not Riley Patterson, but looks a lot like Riley Patterson.
Are you sure that's not Riley Patterson?
Is it?
I think it is Riley Patterson, yeah.
Okay.
You talked yourself out of it. That's definitely.
Okay, that is Riley.
I mean, that's Riley Patterson.
Oh. Kid's got the eye black straps.
Oh, look at this guy. He's got the eye black on.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Liv, you gotta zoom out a little bit. Oh, no, Liv. Come back.
We'll come back to that.
Oh. Man, we're trying to find Daniel Jones' replacement here. What are you doing, Liv? Okay. All right.
I can stop laughing. I got this thing in my. I get this once every couple of years.
Okay.
Where I don't think I have a cough. Like I do have to cough at times, but I feel like it's a touch of asthma.
Huh.
So I get a shortness of breath, and so the only way to clear it out, especially when you're talking for 3 hours, is to cough. But it's a weird deal. Like, I don't know what it must. I don't know. That's a good question because I don't really have allergies this time of year as much. I usually get those in January and February, but I don't know if it's something to do with maybe even the humidity. Is that possible? Can that inflame like a small bout of asthma? I would think maybe. So my dad had asthma, but I remember going to the doc a couple years ago. I'm like, why do I get this? Like it's kind of like a shortness of breath thing a little bit at times, but just very random. And I think it's a little bit of asthma. So if you have that, I do too. Yes.
Maybe you can set up like Chad Muma's doing like the diabetes. You can get like a Brent Martineau like asthma camp going on. Just take it really slow.
Probably shouldn't be a run.
Yeah, no, for sure. Take it really slow. Is this Lloyd right here?
What do we got? Devin Lloyd. Yeah, it's Devin Lloyd.
I mean, dude looks so big in the camera,
good,
but then
man,
Ryan Nielsen stood next to him. I'm like, well, how big is he really? Brent, I think you missed that part. We had a breakdown of Ryan Nielsen, just how big and how towering that guy truly is.
He's a big guy. He's a tall guy. Yeah. Doesn't Nielsen looks like he could participate in a world's strongest man type of competition? I don't know if it's like an actual lift a tree, but he just feels like he'd be that guy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he has the intensity for it for sure.
He does that, and that is the thing. Like we talked to a lot of the assistants, and when you talk to the players and everybody else, like that intensity is real. Like he operates that way, like it or not. I mean, and that's odd. Like it's an interesting deal, right? Because it's always on, and there are some guys that's just always on. That's just the way you are. It's who you are, which I believe can be a good thing because it's genuine. And it doesn't seem manufactured, probably at this level, especially Austen. But do you think it takes a little bit of time for players to get used to a guy like that because the intensity is so locked in?
Yeah, I mean, obviously any football player in his career, whether it's in high school, even Pop Warner, I feel like sometimes, even playing football you see sometimes, I mean, you're going to have that intense coach. What I think, though, at the professional level is when you're dealing with a bunch of grown men, and I call it the Joe Cullen effect. Brent, you saw it firsthand. Joe Cullen was as intense as they come, but we all respected him because that's who he was. He was always that. Mm-hmm. If you go from being like this calm, cool, collected guy outside of the field or, in the film room, and then you go to this, cussing and yelling and stuff on the field, players will see through that. So, once again, I haven't really seen Ryan Nielsen in action in terms of his coaching yet, like on the field, but I would assume it's probably going to be intense. It's probably going to be loud because that's the type of demeanor that he is. And I think he understands NFL locker rooms where it's all about being genuine. You can be a soft-spoken, quote unquote players coach. You can be a bleep, 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 all that old school type of, intense kind of coach. Players will accept any of those roles, but you have to be genuine to who you are. And that's why during the season, during the preseason, whenever I will not be in the locker rooms asking Ryan Nielsen questions because I made fun of his. Well, I didn't make fun of his mustache, but I said, he was due for a Top Gun role. He may have heard that. I'm intimidated already, so I'll be the more like on the street beat reporter as opposed to actually dealing with these coaches face to face.
Yeah, you little baby there. Soft sided.
Wow.
Is there?
After I sing his praises and say we have his back, the dude calls me a baby. All right, sounds good, Brent. I'll say that for slam poetry, I guess.
With Mike McCoy today.
Brent, I didn't get you in anything.
Irony,
his eyes got you in that.
It's the irony, I think, in Nielsen is he was hired and pulled away from a family vacation in Disney when he was hired by the Jacksonville Jaguars.
But knowing him, how he carries himself, probably don't want to be there anyways. Probably an excuse to get out of Disney if he's like me.
There's no way he wanted to be there. He did not want to be there. But I can picture him like you were at Adventure Landing with those kids. He was probably ticked off about waiting in a line or something, or some kid who spilled ice cream on his shoes.
Oh yeah, dude's probably going through the hall of presidents, bored out of his mind, eating a giant turkey leg, spent $30 on it. Yeah, he probably want to get out of there for sure.
Turkey leg, by the way, at Disney is something that my eyes are better than how it tastes. Like I always wanted the turkey leg, right? Like whenever I went there, and I'm like, then you have like 3 bites of it. And you're like, I'm not finishing this. This feels gross,
dude. I mean, every time that I've been to Disney, it seems like it doesn't matter if it's the winter, spring, summer. It's always been like 100 degrees when I've been there. And like the last thing that I want is lugging around a big old salty, greasy turkey leg. Oh,
I know. It just looks like it doesn't look good anymore, but back in the day, it felt like it looked good, and you kind of wanted it. And
but back in the day, if you're growing up with the Vikings and you're eating with your hands and everything, and like you're pillaging villages, like it looks appetizing. It's 2024. What are we doing?
Hey, speaking of 2024, I find myself asking this question. I saw a headline the other day, and it was about Kyler Murray, and I asked myself this, like, is he good? And I don't know if he's good. I feel like he could be good, but I don't know if he's good. Do you know if he's good? Do we know if he's good?
You're asking the wrong guy if you want to.
Tell him, Hamby.
I mean,
tell him, Hamby.
As he has.
Tell him, Hamby.
You know what Austin's going to say.
Well, I mean, I think he's the guy for Arizona, Brent. Now, in terms of on the field play, are we putting him in top 10? I mean, I think there's a debate for it. I also think that some of the tools around him, like when he lost Hopkins, who was the receivers? He had Hollywood Brown, but I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to make him that much better as well. And they have a solid run game with James Conner. I think Kyler Murray is slept on a lot because, there wasn't a lot to talk about with the Arizona Cardinals last season, but I still think he's a pretty dang good quarterback.
Yeah, I wonder, again, I'm always fascinated with people's journeys. He's got an interesting one, right? He comes out of the gates really like as this guy that could be picked in the top 10 in baseball and the NFL. He goes and picks the NFL, puts baseball aside. Looks like he's got a lot of talent. He's fun to watch. There's definitely an entertainment value there. Then he goes through injuries and the leadership stuff and the whole studying stuff, and that became a big deal. And now you said it's been kind of quiet, right? I mean, it went from Larry Fitzgerald to what it looked like they had a bunch of weapons when they added DeAndre Hopkins to now they had nobody really last year, and now they go get a Marvin Harrison Jr. So they're like, hey, we're going to make this good around you, and that connection could be one of the best in the league or interesting in the league. I just don't know what he is. I don't know how you characterize him. Listen, Trevor's had ups and downs. I think there are other quarterbacks that have had ups and downs, and you put them in, okay, we can't go all the way here, but we can see this. I can see there's a ceiling there that's fun to watch, but is he ever going to get there consistently? Or is he just a forgotten guy? And that's kind of the topic in a way. Like, there are forgotten guys even in the NFL. Like, the NFL is so high profile. Fantasy football is so high profile. I'm not saying you've never heard of the guys, but I do think there are forgotten players in the league sometimes that we think are on the verge of stardom, and then they kind of just either disappear, but they might still be good. We just don't talk about them. A guy that actually I think of a lot when this comes up is DK Metcalf. Like Metcalf is a guy that just stole the show, because of the measurables and everything else. And then he has some really nice moments, and maybe you see him in a primetime game, you're like, man, that guy's unreal. But most of the time, because it's Seattle or for whatever reason, you don't really talk about him. We've had a lot of conversations over the years that if you look at Christian Kirk's numbers and Metcalf's numbers, there's not a lot of difference there. And Metcalf got that huge contract, and everybody thinks he's like this alpha stud number one. So I don't know what to make fully of Metcalf, but I also think he's got star potential that's a little bit forgotten about. He's got the similar qualities, in my opinion, of a guy like A.J. Brown. But A.J. Brown, everybody talks about, nobody forgets about. DK Metcalf, it feels like people forget about. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not a bad comparison. There's a little West Coast bias there. I mean, maybe. Like, honestly, I think of a guy, and he is, especially for fantasy purposes, he's always being talked about. Like, but to me, Keenan Allen has been a guy that, in my eyes, has been underrated in terms of being talked about, right? Because I guarantee you, ask anybody who's a casual football fan on the street, give me your top 5 wide receivers. Like, you're going to go Tyreek Hill. You'll probably say Devontae Adams. You'll say Cooper Kupp. You say Jamar Chase, obviously, CeeDee Lamb. And I get, like, Keenan Allen won't even be in that conversation. But then you look at Keenan Allen's numbers, what he puts in and year out for a long time. I think Mike Evans almost falls in this line as well. And I think it's due to Mike Evans' age kind of being on the back end of his career. But it's amazing to me how two bona fide one receivers who have obviously helped whatever quarterback has played with them, helped them immensely, I think still don't really get the love that they deserve in terms of being some of the best wide receivers in the game.
I'll take I like those. And I'll add Chris Olave to that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
I don't know what happened to Brent right there.
I think you said Chris Olave, and Brent's just like, oh, nope, I'm over it.
Yeah, he's not.
Must have cost Brent last year in fantasy football pretty bad.
Looks like Brent, your live view just down. So
I guarantee the battery wasn't plugged in.
Hopefully not.
And I guarantee that the battery died. But anyways, Hamby, so you say you're saying Chris Olave
because he had such a good rookie year, and then there was some injuries that hampered, and he was like good at times last year. But I feel like he's still like can be a top 10 receiver, but just because it's kind of like Kyler Murray, a couple injuries, then you come back a little slow.
Well, and to be fair, who was throwing him the football as well?
And Derek Carr.
Yeah, Derek Carr didn't really have a great season.
One last point on Kyler: watch Zay Jones somehow be the guy who. Like, what if that's the connection? What if it's like not even Marvin Harrison?
Yeah,
like, not that it's not Marvin Harrison, but that it's also Zay Jones. Like that would be insane.
I didn't even think about that. Like you think the way that Murray loves to extend the plays, right, with his legs and everything, he can buy himself some time. Yeah, imagine how many deep shots now. All of a sudden, Zay Jones is going to be like an 8 to 10 touchdown wide receiver, and we're left sitting here like. Okay, but you feel confident with Gabe Davis as well. He's younger, obviously, and he has the big play potential. But, yeah, I mean, I think Brent brought up a great point, though. Like, Kyler Murray is, he took the league by storm. I think it was his rookie year. This is back when it was the Kyler Murray versus Daniel Jones debate, right? When me and Brent had that. And, obviously, when you have the mobility like Kyler Murray has and fantasy relevancy, that's definitely going to help your team out and everything. But he did show a lot to like. But it also goes to show you that, and yeah, injuries did play a key point, but you got to have that trusty receiver. Like, I love what they did when they brought in DeAndre Hopkins, traded David Johnson at running back, who a couple years prior, David Johnson was the fantasy darling. Like, he was the fantasy stud. It was him and Alvin Kamara, like 1 and 2. I should know. I had David Johnson. I mean, I owe him everything. Goes to Houston, kind of falls off a little bit. Is really now a forgotten running back of professional football. But you get DeAndre Hopkins, who is still doing his thing, but it just goes to show you that you have to surround your quarterback with great stars because they simply cannot do it themselves. Not everyone's going to be Patrick Mahomes, where it doesn't really matter who's playing wide receiver. You're going to find them the ball and elevate their play. I don't think Kyler Murray's quite there yet, but I think he offers an interesting skill set with his legs, extending drives, extending time in the pocket to get the wide open receivers.
Welcome back, Brent.
Welcome back, Brent.
This is the most Friday show of all time, by the way.
Better believe it.
It's incredible.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
This is like,
you guys are giving me fits.
This is like, hey, by the way, this is the time of year where you take final exams, and this is like Hamby's final exam. Crazy. It's like, hey, crazy, Hamby, you can only participate in this business if you get through today. it's
Hamby's going to be
unbelievable. By the way,
go ahead, Brent. Sorry.
I love how you have now figured out that I might not have plugged the live view in, which is what we call how we get back here. But I actually did have it plugged in. I got to kick this to engineering. There's a little short in that plug. And that's why it went out. It was plugged in, but it wasn't charging. So
here I am thinking it's dead, and we're finally going to get Muma on, and Brent's not going to be here.
Yeah. Poor Hamby, man.
Which I think we are getting had in a minute.
Listen, I can't wait to see Hamby when I'm walking out the door. I'll probably go to the bathroom first, maybe play some Pac-Man with my son. But as we're walking out the door, Hamby's going to be the Ben Affleck meme with the cigarette with his head down, just like, whew. It was a rough one today.
Freaking long-waited weekend.
Yeah, man.
That's unbelievable. But I got to hear your conversation. Obviously, we started the conversation with Kyler Murray, but it's pretty wild in today's league that you can be a little bit forgotten about at times, with the NFL. And I guess you just have peaks and valleys throughout your career. One other thing before we head to a break, I wanted to get to it, and I'll forget about it, and we might talk a little Jacksonville Armada coming up before the end of the show. It looks like we'll get Chad Muma on, I think, momentarily. But I want to bring you guys in for this, just some quick hitters on the NBA, because Adam Silver, I think, is a terrific commissioner. It's one of those rare things, right, where he is actually supported and liked, seemingly amongst everybody or most people. That commissioners get booed, and there's always this back and forth all the time, even as successful as Roger Goodell and the NFL are, right? It's not always amicable. I think it doesn't come across as well as it does, at least in the NBA. Well, the NBA is talking about expansion, either in the near future or down the road a little bit. Do you like the idea of that? And I thought what was interesting, what he said, the maybe hesitation on it is, can they find 35 more good players around the world to play, because that's what it would take to fill up rosters. And he's a little concerned that you would water down the product. What do you think about expansion in the NBA?
I mean, I get the conversation just because there's more stars, there's more than ever now, NBA stars and household names. So I understand that. But I also caution on the side of, when they first had the expansion, remember the Charlotte Bobcats? Remember how nobody really cared about the Charlotte Bobcats for, the entirety of their franchise? Because they didn't have any, you had Anameka Okafor, and it's a good question on Jeopardy, but that's about it. Dude didn't really do that well in the NBA. So I don't like to see it watered down, Brent. I would much rather maybe I'm more of a traditionalist, but I enjoy the way it is right now. I think the NBA is as hot as it's ever been, and that's because you have, talent on every single team. I think the more teams you bring in, the more odds you run the risk of watering down all the talent.
I don't know about watering down, but I feel like obviously one of the reasons that expansion is ever on the table is because you want to spread the talent around. But with the ability that we see in almost professional sports across the major ones, NFL especially, and in the NBA, where you can, form this conglomerate of stars. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like expansion would help that. So you're still going to have all the stars on the same. And yes, there are teams that have that one star, but the super teams, the 2 or 3 guys joining up together, that's still going to happen on the top, 8 to 10 teams, and those 5 expansion teams. It's just going to be good luck for a long time. Getting and almost recruiting a guy, a top 10 player or 2 top 10 players to come to a not top 30 city with a small fan base to start. It's going to take forever. Yeah. And by the way, maybe Canada. Canada could be in this too as well, with some expansion potential there, Silver says. So we'll see. Just a couple other quick hitters. This is where I think he's really good. He was talking about the TNT stuff, and he's got a great perspective on it. He said the people seem to be most impacted right now, the folks at Turner Sports, talking about the new deal. He said, I know people who work in this industry. It's a large part of their identity, their family's identity. No one likes this uncertainty. I think it's on the league office to bring these negotiations to a head, conclude them as quickly as we can. He kept hitting on a bunch of topics, guys, like the Caitlin Clark stuff.
And he said that flagrant foul last week should be categorized as a, quote, welcome to the league moment. It was the type of treatment that heralded rookies have gone through for years. So he didn't take offense to that hit as much as maybe everybody else did. He also acknowledged that it's very all this discussion is very healthy for women's basketball. But he also said the racial dynamics have seeped into the conversation. He said there's also some larger societal issues at work. So I guess that's what people like about this guy, right? He's up front. He's not really a lot of fluff there. He kind of says it how it is, and he's not afraid to talk about it in that way. I think that's what makes Silver pretty good. He seems as transparent as they come, and I know it's a tough job to be super transparent in, but I'm always amazed at how well Silver has done in his role and how received he is.
Go ahead, Hamby.
If we're going to talk about how, Silver's not, you talk about the race and Silver's not offended and all this, Brent, let me just play you this and ask you if you're offended.
The fact you guys have so many guys that can at least stay with him one-on-one, you don't have to double like teams have in the past. How much does that help in terms of keeping him from being able to have assists? They only obviously have one.
I think it helps a lot. Throwing different guys at him, different guys that play defense differently. Some aggressive, some not. But I think even our white guys guard. So it's hopefully it's a challenge on them, and hopefully we can continue to do that.
Hey, I mean, Charlie knows one thing: it's defense, man. And hey, even the white guys can guard.
Nobody. Here's what I love. I mean, I haven't gone through all the Twitter comments.
Yeah.
But nobody's disagreeing with him.
No, I mean,
Everybody recognizes that. First of all, that's just true.
Yeah.
And second of all, it's hilarious that that's would come up in an interview.
Isn't it? And once, listen, I mean, great spot there, Hamby. It's wild how, in terms of the NBA, I don't really sure, we crack jokes and everything, but I think there is a mutual respect. I mean, you have a lot of, and once again, this is more European guys now, but they still have a different complexion than a lot of NBA guys that come from the United States. And I don't get there's any animosity towards them. When the San Antonio Spurs were doing their thing, maybe the product wasn't the best, with Manu Ginobili and everything, but I think there's still a respect factor there. And, to get back to what Adam Silver said about Caitlin Clark and it was the welcome to the NBA moment, that's fine. But your welcome to the NBA moment should be, okay, you get knocked down, you get bumped, whatever, you get back up. But it should also include your own teammates then having your back, helping you up, and then having your back and saying, hey, that ain't going to happen again. And that's not what transpired. Because guess what? That happens in the NBA all the time. So I'm not asking for a Ron Artest malice in the palace, but there has to be something, some kind of precedent set, hey, that's my teammate. You don't do that. So I get the whole NBA experience, the welcome to the NBA thing, but the welcome to the NBA moment should also include your own teammates having your back.
Yeah, and there's some deeper stuff there, it feels like, too. And just to piggyback off both of those last things, from Holiday to what you're just saying about Caitlin Clark, I mean, I think Larry Bird and the whole, there was a little bit of that in the 80s, too, and I think there was a lot of good that came out of that. I heard we were talking about it. I think I shared with this. Wilbon and Kornheiser, on PTI, they talked about this at length, and I thought it was kind of wild because I saw someone tweet it. So I was like, I'm going to check this out. They said they really did a good job of kind of characterizing the situation. I was like, okay, well, we've been talking about this Monday and Tuesday on the show this week. We said a bunch of these same things, and we did it over more than just a 4-minute topic. And I thought Wilbon was really good, but he actually talked a lot about that. Really, Caitlin Clark is women's basketball, maybe basketball's Larry Bird, because you just don't see a white player come into the league or even the sport of basketball at the professional level and really be good, maybe be the star of the league. Right. So I thought the way he expressed that, I thought was pretty interesting. But you also have said this, and we said this earlier in the week, or we have been, about whether it's Luka or Joker or the European influence on the league. There has been a mutual respect in the NBA. But those guys also aren't known as the greatest defenders, to Holiday's point.
No, for sure. And but I mean, just going back to quick with those with those PTI guys and everything and Wilbon, Yeah, I mean, she essentially is like the Larry Bird now of women's basketball. But it's shocking to me because, once again, like, you can say it's got nothing to do with it. Race does come into play here. Or sexual orientation, people want to say too. I mean, it could be a combination of both those things. And it's wild to me because I think of the WNBA being so progressive and being kind of at the forefront, but then you have a girl like Caitlin Clark who it's almost like you're showing signs of the old times. Like you're showing signs of what Larry Bird had to kind of endure a little bit, maybe, back in the day. So it's crazy how you can be so forefront, making it inclusive and just like the guys, but then when you have a girl who's a star, who's a different color, it's almost like she gets treated differently.
Yeah, so wild comments. But again, back to Silver. I think in the NBA, I think that's in such a good place. One other thought about the NBA, they are about to lose, and he acknowledges. I mean, the last decade, Steph Curry and LeBron James have just been these mega stars. Do they have enough stars to become the mega star, right? I mean, if you look at Durant and others, it's a star-driven league. There's so many good basketball players in the NBA. I mean, it's so deep right now. I say it all the time. There are a bunch of stars. But do they have the mega star? And who is that? In Luka? I just don't know if Joker's ever going to get to mega star bill. You know what I mean? I just don't know if people are going to accept him as that, even though he's a great player and an MVP. Is he that guy? Is he LeBron? Is he Steph Curry? Is he Kevin Durant when he was the best player in the world? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we talk about star power in terms of personality and style of play, I mean, Ann Edwards might be the next big thing. Just because, the guy can be outspoken a little bit, carries himself with a little bit of a swagger. Like, obviously, Giannis is one of the best players in the league, right? But he's a guy who's more about that work factor, more about telling dad jokes in press conferences as opposed to, maybe talking smack after a game. So I think Ann Edwards might be the next chosen guy. Obviously, Luka, too. We've seen what he's been doing. Any guy that can go after Snoop Dogg in the middle of a game when you probably don't know who Snoop Dogg is and cuss him and leave Snoop Dogg speechless is probably going to be a star for years and years to come in the NBA.
Yeah, one thought about Ant Edwards, I will say, and you got to be careful of this, and I don't know. I'm not predicting it to happen, but Trae Young felt like he was on that ascent as well. Yeah. And then Trae Young, I'm not saying he's not a star, but he's just not like where it didn't go where I thought it was going,
Correct. No, that's not a bad point. We talk about this all the time on the show, Brent. When it was I think that was the bubble year. I mean, the bubble was a showcase of two players, in my opinion. That was Luka Doncic and that was Trae Young. And during that tournament, you thought, okay, both these guys are going to be household names, top 5 for years and years to come. Luka has elevated his game a lot. Trae Young has kind of been stagnant and is almost an afterthought now when you talk about who the best players in the game are.
Well, that is anybody's favorite basketball player. We can debate about that. We know there's about 100 kids down at Jags headquarters right now that their favorite football player is probably Chad Muma. And I think we can go down to the Flex Field and visit with Chad for a minute here as he's having his mini camp. Chad, hopefully you can hear us. Brent Martineau along with former Jags player Austen Lane. He would have been on your defense. He was the defensive end back in the early 2010s decade with the Jags. How's the camp going, man? It looks like you guys are having a lot of fun out there and spending some time with the kids.
Yeah, it's been a really good time out here with the kids. Bringing some fellow Type 1 diabetics out here and just kind of putting them through some drills. And our camp is called the Muma Movement Mini Camp, and it's all about introducing kids to keep that movement and to not sit still with Type 1 diabetes. So it's been a great time out here. We're just wrapping up the camp right now, and a lot of kids have fun out here.
Hey there, Chad. Austen.
Chad,
sorry. Go ahead, Brent. Sorry.
No, well, let me just follow up real quick. You've shared your story with us many times. Your story's a powerful one of making it to the NFL, living with diabetes. But it sounds like these kids were asking a bunch of questions and inspired by your story. I mean, to see it up close, what you're able to do and the platform you're able to share and get a little inspiration to a young person, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, it means the world to me. When I was a kid, I didn't really know of too many people with Type 1 diabetes in the professional world. And so, just being that advocate for the kids out here today, I feel like it's super important to me. And to see it firsthand is amazing. I'm super grateful for the opportunity and the position that I've been in to help these kids. But they're asking tons of questions, asking what I do game days for my diabetes, what I do on practice days for my diabetes. So it's great to educate the kids, and hopefully they can get something out of it.
Chad, as Brent was making me feel really old here, coming back from the 2010s when I played, I actually had a teammate in John Chick who played with diabetes. And I remember, the things that he had to go through to get himself ready for the season, but also during the games. How has the science grown? I mean, is it still kind of the same thing where you got to check your blood sugar, then, a little insulin? Or like how does it work now for an athlete in 2024?
Yeah, so I mean the technology is evolving every single year, and so right now, I'm currently using my insulin pump. I'm wearing it on my arm. Don't know if everyone can see it, but I have my Tandem Mobi insulin pump, and it connects to my CGM that tells me my blood sugar, so I don't have to prick my finger as often as I used to before, and it monitors my blood sugar, 24 hours. And so the technology has grown significantly, and it talks to my insulin pump. So if I'm going low, it can suspend the insulin. If I'm going a little bit higher, it can give me some insulin. So it's just amazing things that they're continuing to do, and there's even more testing going into looking at antibody testing to see if a kid has the gene of potentially getting type 1 diabetes later on in their life. And so it's just amazing all the technology that's coming out with it.
Chad, I'm glad we got you on the show, man, because I've been meaning to talk to you since you got drafted, and it means everything to watch you here with these kids, man, having a great day. I remember one of my very first coaches I ever had in Little League, what was a big inspiration to me. He was super intense, super crazy. I remember one time he actually broke our TPS baseball bat because he got so fired up over a great catch in the outfield. Now, the reason why I tell that story of that intensity and him breaking the bat is because his name was Tim Polasek. Does Tim Polasek ring a name to you in terms of where you came from college?
Oh, yeah, it definitely does. He still has that same intensity and that same fire that he has. That is so funny. I did not know that connection. He was with me at Wyoming for a couple years, and he was on the offensive side, so I didn't get to talk to him too much in terms of football stuff, but he was fired up on the field, bringing that offense energy and, bringing that competitive spirit to our practices when we were going against each other.
Amazing.
It's good stuff. Chad Muma hanging out with us. I don't want to keep you too long, but we got to get a football question in. How's this coming together? Ryan Nielsen's defense, you guys switching a little bit schematically. How do you play into it? What do you see from it? What do you like about it?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed this offseason, as we're wrapping up this next week. It's been a great transition. I think that this defense is going to be a lot more detailed and a lot more focused on, certain aspects of our alignments and our techniques, and I think it's going to be really important for us. Nielsen's bringing that, physical and aggressive mindset that we talk about every single day, and, switching up the defense in terms of our scheme. We're bringing some elements that he had from Atlanta, and in terms of me, that's, moving me to the outside linebacker position, working some of that this offseason. And, Nielsen's been a great mentor to kind of coach me through those different drills, more so that pass rush aspect that, you don't really work as a middle linebacker, inside linebacker as much as you often would as an outside linebacker.
Chad, we appreciate you jumping in for a few minutes, man. Go back, have some fun hanging out with the kids on your mini camp. Congratulations for a successful event, and keep continuing to inspire those kids. I'm sure it means a lot to them and their families and other people watching around the country you play in the NFL. Thanks, man.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
That is Chad Muma, Jags linebacker, super good dude. And going into year 3, much like Devin Lloyd, man, obviously a lot on those linebackers' plate. There's a lot of unknowns there, but I think there's a lot of excitement what it could be in this defense. And I bring up Ventrell Miller's name, too. I've heard a lot of good things about him. The Jags they've invested a lot in linebacker. They might have some really good ones. I think this is the year to kind of find out for sure what they have in that room, along with Foye Oluokun, obviously, who's been outstanding.
No, of course. And once again, anytime you implement a new defense, Brent, whether it's complicated, whether it's just going to be pin your ears back and go, a lot of that starts with the linebackers. And, the job of making sure everyone's kind of lined up correctly and filling the holes accordingly. And, I think Chad Muma is going to be competition, obviously. And we kind of talk about this to start the show out. How much base 4-3 do you really see, right? Like, how much is the strong side linebacker going to be used? But you talk about teams with Jonathan Taylor, the Tennessee Titans, who their calling card of the past has been running the football. Then obviously the Houston Texans, probably a little more balanced, great wide receivers, but also pretty good running back in Joe Mixon. You're going to have to stop the run every once in a while now too.
Yeah, I loved his reaction, by the way, when you brought up the Wyoming story. That's good stuff.
Well, yeah. So cause I didn't have I knew he was kind of in a rush, but yeah. So our Little League coach broke. So every year we got one bat because, hey, it's, Central Wisconsin. We didn't have a lot of money. So every year the booster club would give us money to get one bat. So it was like a TPS red line. It was like Excalibur, Brent. We were all excited. Like this was the bat. Our second day of practice, our coach, Tim Polasek, and I said it was because because the kid dropped the ball. His name was Andrew Moss. I'll call him out right now. Andrew Moss dropped the ball. Tim Polasek slams the bat on the ground. The bat breaks in two. And keep in mind, these are metal bats, right? So they're hollow. He took the top of the bat and made it into a shifter on his Camaro. And that was how he used the bat for that season. And we had to use the old bats again. Didn't buy us a new one, just had a new, shifter knob, if you will. But yeah, so that guy went on to be a football coach, and he obviously gave me some advice throughout my, Pop Warner career and everything. And he ended up coaching with Chad. I mean, he's offensive coordinator at Wyoming with Chad Muma, and now he's the current head coach of the North Dakota State Bison.
That's awesome. Great story. Yeah. Great stuff. I do remember that you could dress up that stick shift if you really wanted to. Now nobody even knows how to drive one.
Yeah, it was probably the most expensive knob ever. So,
hey, we got to take a break, and we're going to talk a little Jacksonville Armada coming up next. We're live at Best Bet St. Augustine. So much going on here on this Friday, but it's been a lot of fun as well. And don't forget, we'll have an encore edition of After the Game coming up today at 2:00 on our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. It follows a Cup date in a week with Action Sports Jacks. I'm telling you, if you haven't seen this, you're going to love it, especially if you're in the coaching world. Kevin Sullivan sharing some fantastic stories. Next week, we're going to have St. Augustine's Brian Braddock. It's a high school coaches show, the journey to the sideline and some of the fantastic stories. Don't miss it. You can also check it out on actionnewsjacks.com. And there is the rest of the lineup throughout the day here on a Friday, each and every Friday on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. It's a new logo, new branding. With Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. It's hot, Florida in the summer. You can't do much to avoid it, but you can keep cool with Bold City Heating and Air. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained, and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. Stay cool while it gets hot. Bold City Heating and Air can help. Don't get caught sweating all summer. boldcityac.com, and they have financing to help. New systems starting at $110 a month and $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown.
It's the fishing tournament everyone wants to catch. The Daly's Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin. It's June 8th. Limited boundaries, no bait buying, no checkout. If you don't catch the big one, just catch any size kingfish and have a chance to win $10,000 with a Nimnik Lucky Ticket. It's the Old School Kingfish Shootout, and you can catch it live on the Action News Jacks Now stream and the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. It's on Saturday, 2:00, and it'll replay on Sunday on the Action News Jacks app and actionnewsjacks.com.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jacks, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens.
The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From 1954 to 2024, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. That commitment includes a partnership with the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team as the presenting sponsor of all Armada men's and women's broadcasts this summer. Action Sports Jacks and Alive Credit Union, a partnership that just makes sense when it comes to covering Northeast Florida. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of our first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Hey, the Jacksonville Armada will be on our Action Sports Jacks network each of the next 2 days. Tonight, Stuart Weber has coverage starting at 6:30. Match at 7 o'clock at JU. You can go out and watch at Jacksonville University. Women play tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Same deal at JU, so go out and check it out. If you can't, you can watch it on our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Coverage begins at 2:30. We'll also have an old school Kingfish shootout coming up Saturday afternoon. So busy lineup on our new endeavor here with the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network, Action News Jacks app, actionnewsjacks.com, Apple TV, Google TV, Roku, all of it here with our new network. So we're excited about that. And hope to be talking about the Armada in just a couple of moments, I think, as Jason Hamby's working on something right here to make sure we can get Coach Tommy Krasanovic in and talking about tonight's match before they play at 7 o'clock. And Hamby, you just give me a thumbs up when you're ready, but I know you're working on a couple of things. We're live at Best Bet St. Augustine as a busy weekend here as well as the Poker Atlas Tour takes shape this weekend, and plenty of action out there heading into the weekend early on. So that is good. And come on out, have some lunch, hang out. We've got the Belmont Stakes, by the way, tomorrow, too, so I got to buy a little 4-1-5 trifecta, and maybe they'll let me play the superfecta, too. Maybe we'll get to be able to pick the winner for the third leg of the Triple Crown coming up tomorrow. Derby winner Mystic Dan is running in the Belmont Stakes. All right, now I think we have Coach Tommy on the show, and we'll bring him in and talk a little Jacksonville Armada. A few wins under your belt this year, Coach, and give us a little preview of what's going to happen tonight. How do you feel about tonight's matchup?
And what we need to get out of it at the end of it.
How do you feel about your squad? Now you got a good sample size. I think it's 3 wins, a draw, and a couple of losses. So you've had a mixed bag in there. So how do you feel about what you guys have compiled, put together, and now heading into this stretch of the season?
For sure. It's a bit of a different conference, obviously, from the last few years, and so it's definitely improved the competitive level overall. Teams are good. Teams are talented that we're playing against, but we're also really keen on making sure that we're playing the Armada way. Sometimes you have to sacrifice certain things, but what we don't do is we don't sacrifice our identity for it. We have a certain style of play and we stick to it, and we're going to continue to stick to it. So we felt like we've had a good turnaround in the last week and a half, especially with the last match against Miami. And we feel confident going into this one with New Orleans.
Well, give us a little bit, expand on that a little bit more. What style of play do you want to play, that you want to stick to, that you want to be who you are and who you guys trying to be from an identity standpoint?
Yeah, so we want to attack with speed. We want to create an attacking mindset. We want to, obviously, we owe it to our viewers, our supporters to come out and watch an attacking game. We want to score goals. We want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to get on the scoring sheet, but also make it an exciting game. On the attacking side, on the defensive side, we don't like to be without the ball. We take a lot of pride in how we attack and how we try to manipulate the opponent and how we try to move the opponent. So a lot of preparation and a lot of information goes into that type of style of play. Keep in mind, we only just started a month ago, and sometimes to integrate these types of behaviors with players, it can be quite difficult, especially when the players are coming from different environments and different styles of play. But we feel as a staff we've done a really good job. We feel the players have done a really good job with receiving that information and making sure that they are playing the Armada way come game time.
Tommy Kruzenovic with us as the Armada play on the Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network tonight, and you can also go to JU and watch that game. Coverage starts at 6:30, 7 o'clock match play against New Orleans. Is it hard to know about these other teams? Do you have a pretty good understanding of the other teams you're playing, or you're kind of living and learning during the match?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. It'd be much better when we have scouting tools that we can use to learn more about our opponents. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Sometimes we really just rely on what we need to do within the game and what our indicators, our key performance indicators are. But we do have a really good staff on board that breaks down not only our game film to give us indicators, not just the result, but indicators on how we're doing overall with data. But then we also have a really good staff that breaks down the opponent, and we've studied New Orleans tonight. We have a game plan. We're ready for them, and we expect a good result.
This is an under-23 league. Is there good talent around here? And are you seeing really good talent in this league?
Yeah, absolutely. The talent, especially with us, is so different. You could be playing against the Naples, who are just coming off the board playing professional soccer. 8 or 9 of their players who played against us in the starting lineup last game. Whereas we are so focused on not only the players that we have within the community, the academy players, but also the players that have come from within the academy that are in the college environment now. And then you trickle in some internationals, you trickle in some players that we feel like can make the jump pro, and we've done that. We've studied our own players quite a bit. We have a really good understanding of who can actually make that jump from a quality standpoint. But now the telling is going to be who has the mindset, who has the mentality, and who can do it in the long run. And games like this tonight will show. It will show us better examples of what our players can and cannot do.
One last one for you. Stuart Weber on the call. Calls a lot of the Armada matches, of course. You can hear it tonight on the Action Sports Shacks 24/7 network. Does he have a good goal call, Coach? I mean, what do you think when you go back and watch that tape?
You know what? I owe it to Stuart to watch a lot more tape. Usually I just watch the tactical review, but I was fortunate enough to watch the last game against Naples, and Stuart's crushing it. Not only that, happy birthday to him as well. Obviously, it was his birthday just recently, so we're excited to have him again tonight and with us overall.
Absolutely. Happy birthday to Weber. It was his birthday yesterday, so good luck tonight. appreciate you taking a few minutes to join us, and hopefully have a nice crowd out there at JU, and other folks can watch it on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Good luck this summer, Coach.
Thank you very much for having me.
You bet. That is Tommy Krasenovic, the head coach of the Jacksonville Armada. Again, you can watch the game tonight on the network starting at 6:30 with birthday boy Stuart Weber, and hopefully listening to a lot of goals scored and called. And then the women take the pitch tomorrow afternoon on the network as well. All right, we got to get a dancing Ronin and an NBA slam poetry delivering Austen. What is going on back there?
Are you ready to play? Are you ready to do this? All right, you got to stop playing Pac-Man. All right, you got to stand in front of the camera. Hamby, we good? There's a lot going on, Brent.
Oh, my gosh.
Hamby, are you even back there anymore? Or am I just,
okay, here we go.
Well, hang on, wait.
Let me pull it out.
Where's
Hamby passing the final exam test?
Oh, Ron, you about to come over here. Yeah, a little more. There we go. All right. You got step back a little bit. All right. Now, you remember, you got to stay still, okay? Okay. All right, cool. We good? Hamby, we good?
Let's ride.
All right, let's go. Let's get some music if we got it.
Oh, baby. I've been on here on a Friday. Wait a minute here.
Let's ride. That's going to be the nail in the coffin, trying to quote
ride.
Russell Wilson. Oh,
we move.
We move. Also, Hamby, you want to put the camera back on me until we set him up?
Ronan.
I mean, he's just standing there.
Ronan just...
Here we go. Here we go.
Okay,
Ronan
can we get
into
it
a
back on me,
mannequin.
please? Yeah. This is the most... Hamby, put the camera back on me, and then I'll keep... Thank you very much. My word. Poor kid's just sitting there, about to get roasted in the comments. All right, here we go. Everybody ready? Rones, you ready? All right, man. Hamby, is that buy button ready too?
Yes, it will be.
We'll see. All right. Okay. NBA Slam Poetry, back again, keeping it real. We're never fake. Only 12 points on 19 shots. Kyrie and Boston is a combo like, hey there, Delilah and Drake. Hit him with the Hamby. No, yep. There's no buy button. Yeah, Ron, just do a dance. It's fine. There you go. Wait, yeah, come back. Wheels are falling off. All right, next one. Hamby, did you find the buy button?
We're going to get it.
Okay. I believe when I see it. Game 1 was Bart Simpson. Kind of a blowout, so we'll call it a bummer. Someone call Meg the Stallion, because with Luca and the Unicorn, it's about to be a year of white boy summer. What the heck is it? Dude, you just got... Oh, man. All right, Rose, I'm about to come up you out in a second for this next one. All right. Okay. Boston threw everything at Luca. Try to shut it down. Hamby, can you get me back on the camera, please? Oh, you have 10 feet in the parking lot. Okay. Boston threw everything at Luca. Try to shut it down like their name was John Tapper. Hold up, wait a second. It's the drug tester as a hair for Hamby. Dude thought Rodgers was better than Matthew Stafford. I messed that completely up. Did you hear yesterday? Brent, you didn't hear yesterday. Yeah, Brent wasn't here yesterday. He doesn't get that one. Okay. Well, Hamby thought that Matthew Stafford was a superior quarterback to Aaron Rodgers.
Kirk Cousins.
Debatable. Exactly.
No.
All right. Wait, do we have the buy button ready?
I'm working on it.
Okay. I'll keep going. We got a couple more. Boston was sauteing, cooking in the land of baked beans. They shoot too many threes? Well, they did their best MTV programming trash impression, putting up that Sweet 16. Hit him with the Hamby. Get him, bro. Get him with the handshake. That was a good one. There we go. Okay, and we're back. Sorry. All right.
That was better than a vibe, by the way. Way better than a vibe.
Thank you very much. Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, I have so much to say, but it's a roller coaster I'm not trying to ride. You know what? Scratch that. I ain't going to say a dang thing. Let's just talk about this beautiful weather outside. Not trying to get canceled or put in the corner, Brent. Yep. And last but not least,
45 seconds left.
I don't work for 6ix9ine anymore. I'm a freelancer, so I'll say whatever I want to say. ESPN, the halftime show was awful. Couldn't watch it. Now I know how Mike McCoy feels when Brent Martineau comes his way. Get him, Rhodes. Got him. Oh, Hammy had the buy button. Dude, get him one more time, Rhodes.
Got him.
He finally had the vibe. All right, we're out of here. This is
Totally
what a
off my
Friday this
phone,
was.
but we got
that was
10
a tremendous
seconds.
way to end it. Woo! Have a good weekend, everybody, and I'll see you next month.